Okie dokie, smoky pokey. What's going on out there in the land of the unfree America? Welcome, everybody, to another rendition of Delete Lawz. My name is ChilleDeCastro. I will be your host during this wild adventure in the land of the unfree America. We're going to see multiple videos where the government covers up for the coppers, or for a fire chief, or for a DA, or for a prosecutor. They're all in it together. It's one big club, and like George Carlin said, you ain't in it. Do me a favor, if you would, please put into the comment section OTVO, which stands for Overturn Terry versus Ohio. That's the 1968 case of Terry versus Ohio, and specifically what Terry does. Terry does 4 specific things, and you have to know this because it's not qualified immunity. It's Terry versus Ohio that has decimated freedom in this country. And what are those 4 factors that Terry does? Number 1, it creates that term, officer safety. If you ever hear the cops saying, oh, that's for officer safety, that's what it does first. It puts officer safety over all of your rights. Number 2, Terry versus Ohio creates reasonable articulable suspicion, which never existed before 1968. That's not a part of your 4th Amendment. It doesn't say if the government's reasonably suspicious of you, they could chain you up. But that's what Terry does, which is the 3rd thing. Cops can come up and grab you based on reasonable articulable suspicion. They can grab you, which leads to the 4th thing. Cops can now detain you. And how do they detain you? In the exact same torture cuffs that were created in the Delaware colony that was founded in 1638 by the Swedes and the Dutch, where they can chain you up and you're not arrested, it's only detained. So if you would, please write it in the chat, OTVO, 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 we don't stop. I see BS Unleashed is in the chat. What is going on, BS Unleashed? I see, is that Jules? I do see Jules. Jose Hernandez! What's up, Playboy? Jose Hernandez, do you know I have a cousin who I just met with in Colombia who's named Jose Hernandez? What is up, Playboy? What is going on? Okay, Jeff Vacone is in the chat. Nikki's in the chat. Russian Plant. OTVO Algorithm. Pumpernickel is here. Let's OTVO is in the chat. We don't stop. I'm going to pin that comment right to the top from Let's OTVO. We don't stop. A lot of people quit. They give up. They give up. They stop fighting. And let me be honest, you know, they put me in the dungeon last year. I got out. My head was all effed up for months and months on end. I didn't go live for months. Really hurt the channel. But the thing is that they can only stop us if we stop. Right, Sunday? Is that right? They can only stop us if we stop. Hello, Germany. What's going on, Playboy? What is going on? Now, this video is about a guy named Matthew Massucci. He was from New York. He went to Prescott, Arizona. We're going to watch the news clip, and then we're going to watch the full extended video with his lawyers. And it's going to break down exact. David Stryker's in the chat. Dan Hanlon! What's going on, Playboy? Shout out to my boy Steve Conkler. Steve Conkler. Let's go live, Conk. ... We are live. Live, Conk. There it is. My man, Steve Conkler. Thanks a lot. Captain Team DLZ. There he is. I see him right there. User Chevy Nova. That's my boy, Captain. Wild Boy, what is going on from Dublin? From Dublin, Ireland. I want to show you guys this video. This is going to piss you off. Chevy! Where's Chevy? Where is Chevy? Zoom with Smokey is from Texas. Let's get into this. I really want to show you guys this video. And it's funny because when Dave Bisgabing covered that the lawyers for Matthew Massucci had uncovered an absolute corrupt scheme, John Lunn, an absolute corrupt scheme in Prescott, Arizona, the cops in Prescott, Arizona said, oh, Dave Bisgabing, he just produces anti-police bias all the time. How about this? How about you guys stop being a bunch of corrupt fucking douchebags? How about you uphold the rule of law and hold those accountable who lie, cheat, steal, rape, murder, kill our citizens in the streets? And this one, BS Unleashed, Les Paul, this one right here, this is so corrupt, it's unbelievable. The detective knows.
And you're about to see the.
Let me show you. Let's get to the beginning.
Go with what their friend said. My husband is a battalion chief, and this is not a joke. The guy.
My husband's the battalion chief for the fire department, and Matthew Massucci pulled a gun on them, is what the lying wife is going to say. Why isn't the wife arrested for giving false information on a police report?
Pulled a gun on my family.
Nobody was interested in finding out the truth. They only wanted to go with what their friends said, you know?
Imagine you're in a small town and you're accused by a powerful person of a serious crime that will send you to prison. Now imagine that powerful person has known the detective investigating your case for decades, but it doesn't stop there. Imagine their sons play football together and the powerful person and the detective even coach together. Well, stop imagining, because that's exactly what we just uncovered in a case we've been investigating for months.
I've got the closed caption on for those who are
This
deaf.
body camera video is from Detective John Hanna, and he's coming to see Deputy Fire Chief Dustin Parra. The two are not strangers. Parra and Hanna have known each other for more than 30 years, and you're about to see the proof. But first, we need to show you why Detective Hanna is here, showing Chief Parra a photo of this man.
So this guy is a lying scumbag. He's the chief of the fire department in Prescott, Arizona. He's a lying scumbag, and he's an alcoholic, as far as I'm going to allege, because of what we see in the video, drinking racks and racks of beer. There's always alcohol involved in a lot of the bad things that happen with people.
With extreme prejudice. Nobody did their due diligence. Nobody was interested in finding out the truth. They only wanted to go with what their friends said, you know?
Prescott Police Department, how can I help you? My husband is a battalion chief, and this is not a joke. The guy pulled a gun on my family.
The caller is the wife of Dustin Parra, the alleged suspect, Matt Massucci, a local construction worker.
Massucci.
They claim Matt came out of a gas station and for some reason threatened them.
My husband jumped out of the car. We tried to calm the conversation. He just pulled a gun out on my family.
Everyone left before police got there, and acting only on the family's word, officials arrested Matt days later and charged him with 4 felonies.
One false move and every one of those guys is gonna fire at you.
It would take 2 years and this grainy video to eventually show the fire chief, intoxicated after his brother's funeral, followed Matt and confronted him while Matt was inside his car. That's why Matt says he pulled a gun from his center console.
What's more likely? I became, for no apparent reason, verbally aggressive and then presented a handgun and threatened them, or this drunk man who was at a very emotional day of his life chose to pick a fight with somebody because he didn't like the way he looked. You know, it's pretty simple to see, but they didn't want to see that.
We confirmed through old yearbook photos that Deputy Chief Parra and Detective Hanna went to high school together.
So Detective Hanna and the chief of the fire police in Prescott, Arizona, went to high school together. The man investigating the crime that Matthew Massucci is accused of doing is the detective who was best friends with Parra from high school till now. That's 30 years, 35 years.
And played football together. Take a look. The Prescott High Badgers, varsity, 1995.
I said 35 years, 95. It's 30 years. 30 years these guys have known each other.
1996. And their football connection didn't stop there.
Garden State Accountability is in the chat, everybody. Get over there and subscribe to his channel. He's doing great work on the East Coast. Good to see you, Garden State.
Online photos and rosters
Gloria.
showing their sons have played together for years. In this Facebook photo from late 2021, it appears to show Parra and Hanna coach their son's team together. The Prescott High 2025 yearbook also shows Parra as a varsity and JV coach, meaning he coached Hanna's son. We didn't know about all of this when we first got Prescott PD to answer some questions.
So he's done this many times where he's known people where they've investigated cases that they're victim or suspect that he knows. So being biased doesn't happen.
Oh, no. Put a 1 in the chat if cops are biased. Put a 1 in the chat if there's favoritism, nepotism. Put a 1 in the chat if cops are biased and they slant always towards government officials.
Arrested people that he's known. So he's gonna know victims here.
Right.
So.
Records show Parra personally and directly called Detective Hanna minutes after the incident, but then he was apparently too intoxicated and upset to be interviewed by other officers that night.
I don't know if the department has a response to that it was investigated in a biased way, or...
Well, and I don't want to just, come off like this, but, it's Prescott, right?
Yeah.
So, everybody grew up here together. So everyone's going to, a lot of people know a lot of people.
Oh.
The detective who investigated this case, born and raised here, grew up here, so he knows a lot of people.
Right.
So it does happen where, people call a specific officer.
Deputy Chief Parra has not responded to repeated interviews.
No, he didn't call a specific officer. He called an officer who he played football with in high school, that one of them coached the other one's son. It's a scam. But
requests. The police department has also not responded to follow-up requests for comment on this new information. But Prescott police policies state members of this department shall refrain from maintaining personal relationships with victims, witnesses, or other individuals during the course of any official contact. And if they do have that contact, the employee shall promptly notify his uninvolved immediate supervisor.
Now walk back to the sound of my voice.
Did that happen in Matt Massucci's case? Again, Prescott PD won't say, but we do know the detective never called Matt to get his side of the story before having officers track him down, arrest him at gunpoint, take him in for questioning.
Detective came in, he opened up a folder, put it on the table. I just told him I plead the fifth. He closed the file and he said, I got you on camera. He told me I was being charged with 4 felony charges.
How much time are you looking at if you were convicted in all of that?
I believe it was 5 to 15 per charge. Right.
Now, if you saw our previous reports, you know that Matt's case was finally dismissed earlier this year.
Wait, let's stop right here. Okay, let's get into the nitty-gritty detail of Matt Massucci's case. Let's get into this because I have the whole video from the
lawyers. What follows is our interview with Matthew, an Attorneys for Freedom client who we defended in a criminal case. Matthew was charged with 2 counts of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. The allegations were that he illegally pointed his firearm at a prominent fire department official and the official's minor son in central Arizona. There was only one problem. It was all based on lies.
Turns out there was only one person that day that committed assault on a 15-year-old, and that was Mr. Parra.
In other words, they're trying to explain to you why he's behaving like this.
Right, but that doesn't mean it's okay.
We're going to tell you his story today. Stay tuned.
So this is Attorneys on Retainer. They are a legal firm out of Arizona that picked up Matthew Massucci's case and got his case dismissed. But wait till you get to the nitty-gritty details here. I'm going to jump around a little bit with timestamps. That I've already watched this, and I'm going to go to timestamps here. But
and our good friend and client, Matthew. How you doing today, Matthew?
Oi.
I thought you could start by just introducing yourself to our listeners.
I'm Matthew Massucci, born and raised in New York, and I moved to Prescott, Arizona when I was 19 years old.
How old are you now?
27.
Okay. And so what brought you out to Prescott from New York?
I moved out here for job opportunities and just a change in pace, what I was used to out there on Long Island. So came out here, and then within a short time, I started working for a good company, making good money. I fell into a really good opportunity with housing. I was actually a groundskeeper for a camp for nonverbal autistic kids, and I had 35 acres, nice big house. I enjoyed Arizona for everything that it had to offer, the good weather, outdoors, things like that.
Pretty good life.
Yeah, not bad.
And you moved out here at the age of 19 alone?
Yeah.
Okay.
Came here alone.
All your family's back in New York?
Yep.
Okay. All right, so everything was going great in your life, and how long were you living in Arizona before this incident happened?
I lived in Arizona for, I think it was 2 years, and then I left for about 6 months, went back home. Some family members weren't doing too well, and spent some time, and then I came back, and I had spent the remainder of the time there until I left at age 25.
Got it. Okay, so let's jump right into the incident. What happened on July 16th, 2023?
I had just recently flown a good friend of mine, who I refer to as my brother, out to live with me for a couple of weeks. He was going to work for mine and my friend's company. He had only been out for about a week, and him and my girlfriend at the time wanted some snacks, so I decided to take her and my dog down to the gas station to get some candy bars. And I drove down.
Makes sense.
Parked my car. I went in. I had a normal conversation with the clerk, who I see on a regular basis, 5 minutes away from my house.
So this was a Star Mart, correct?
Yeah, it was a Shell gas station with a Star Mart attachment. Yeah.
Which is just like a run-of-the-mill convenience store.
Right.
You pull up your vehicle. The only other human being in the car is your girlfriend. Your dog's in, the back seat or something like that. And so you pull up, you get out of the vehicle. You leave it running?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay, and she's sitting in the passenger seat. And so you exit the driver's seat to go inside, buy some snacks.
When I exited the store, a car that was parked directly in front of the doors, there was very clearly two
now,
guys.
This is really important right here. I want you to pay real close attention that this video is going to show that the fire chief, his wife, and his kid pulled up in that car. But the wife of the fire chief goes in the store to buy 2 more racks of beer. You know, if you guys are beer drinkers, I don't get it. I don't get it. The research is clear. Alcohol does 0 good for you. I don't understand it.
Guys looking at me, saying something. I wasn't sure what. They were in their vehicle. By the time I passed their vehicle to get to mine, which was parked adjacent theirs, 2 doors had opened, and a guy that was much larger than me was screaming things and yelling at me and charging at me.
And you said that you hear the yelling before you get to your vehicle?
Yeah, as I came out of the store, the front of their vehicle was pointed directly at the door of the store. So when you left, you were looking inside their vehicle. And my car was parked adjacent to that, maybe a space over. You saw the passenger, and there was a face coming from the back seat, you know, and they were clearly saying something to me. I didn't know what. I was outside the vehicle. I couldn't hear them.
So you hear yelling from inside of the vehicle.
Right.
And can you tell it's angry yelling at that point?
No, I didn't know what it was, but, you know, they were very clearly looking at me. And then by the time I left the store and passed their vehicle, which no more than 15 feet, I was heading towards my vehicle. There was 2 guys out of a car, and one was, you know, screaming, chasing me.
Okay, and so they got out, and what did you do at that point? You immediately, did you interact with the person who's screaming at you?
I didn't know what the reason was. You know, I just saw a very upset guy who was very clearly intoxicated. That was the biggest thing, you know. He was flaring his arms. He was moving like an intoxicated person would.
Sevenfold with a super chat, lying on police reports and redacting body camera footage. In other news, cops continue to investigate themselves and find no wrongdoing. Real quick shout out to Duncan, Oklahoma. I have just filed with the city clerk. I told the city clerk, if I don't get the body camera footage by December 20th, I'm going to sue Stevens County in Oklahoma, and I'll follow through on that.
And I was right next to my car. I'm not going to fight a guy that's intoxicated for no reason. So I tried to get to my car and leave, and he wouldn't let me. You know, he followed me to my vehicle and then opened my car door. And he had every intention of harming me.
Yes.
What seats did they get out of? Do you recall?
Yeah, they were both doors on my car side, so both passenger doors.
I see.
I retreated to my vehicle. He followed. He opened my car door, you know, prevented me from closing it. I retrieved my firearm, which I had holstered in the center console.
So I want to explain this because you may not be able to see it very well or understand what's happening. In Arizona, there's stand your ground laws. In other words, your car is your castle, your house is your castle. And what this video here is showing is that Fire Chief Parra was in the door of Matthew's car, and Matthew's trying to shut the door before he pulls a firearm.
I put up my left hand to try to prevent him from ripping me out of my car. He was very clearly heavily intoxicated.
So let's slow that down. When you say he opened your car door, had you already closed the door, or was it like halfway open?
I had already opened, and by the time I had opened and sat in my car, he was in the car door opening. Mm-hmm. So I couldn't close my car door.
Mm-hmm. Exactly correct. And listen, if you guys have a drink now and then, I totally understand. But these people are getting wasted, and the wife who's going to lie and should be arrested for that, she's getting another double rack of beers to get wasted, more wasted than this fire chief is already wasted.
He had one hand on the door, and he's screaming, you know, I don't know what he's screaming. And this took place over 2 years ago now.
Just to paint the picture, for you now sitting in your car, you got this guy yelling at you. What's the physical characteristics of this guy? Is this a small guy, a big guy?
He's a relatively big guy. I mean, you know, I think I'm 6 foot, 150 pounds. I'm not a big guy. I'm a skinny guy. But he was bigger than me, you know, much more larger than I was in size. And the part that was intimidating, and I was concerned. Nobody, if you're intoxicated, you're not thinking clearly. So I don't know what this guy is capable of doing, you know, and his own family is telling me, you know, he's messed up right now, da-da-da-da-da. His son, I overheard him saying that his brother just died and things like this, and he was very emotional, very worked up, and he was even at some point trying to stop his father, and he couldn't. The guy was very aggravated for whatever reason. It was, you know, 10 seconds that I walked out of the store, and he was in my car.
So Matthew Massucci walks out of the 7-Eleven or Quickie Mart, whatever it is. He sees this fire chief and his son in the car, just goes to his car, gets in his car, and he's leaving. The fire chief jumps out of his car and tries to fight him. And he's like, why do I want to fight you? I don't know you. I feel exactly the same way. I know how to fight. If you pick a fight with me, I wouldn't want to fight me. I wouldn't fight anybody. I don't want to fight anybody, especially someone who knows how to fight. And I don't want to fight anybody even if I can just beat them up. I don't want to fight anybody. And Matthew's no different than I am. He doesn't want to fight anybody. Not to mention, Para is twice his size, 250 pounds. He weighs 150. That's not fair.
So I had my firearm at, you know, low ready position and established a safe distance to try to prevent him from entering my car further. Then he saw my firearm and he started yelling, what are you going to do, shoot me? I'm a chief of the fire police, whatever. Luckily, his wife was able to pull him away enough to where I was able to close my car door. And I closed my car door and I left. After that, I get pulled over on my way home from work. My brother was...
So he leaves, Para leaves, and now he's on his way home from work. And listen to this part. John Lunn! What's up, brother? Happy birthday, James Lunn Jr.
Carl and me worked about a 10-hour day. I had stopped at Sprouts to buy some groceries.
That's where I shop.
Quite a bit of groceries I had picked up. And on the way home, I get 2 cars behind me. I wasn't breaking any traffic laws, so I didn't quite know why I was being pulled over, but I pulled over immediately. Nobody approached my vehicle. Then I'm looking in the mirrors and they tell me, you know, put your hands on the ceiling. So I put my hands on the ceiling. 2 cars turns to 4 cars, turns to 8 cars. I hear brakes squealing, you know, they shut the road down, and I'm just being told to sit there with my hands on the ceiling. Eventually,
They're speaking to you through a loudspeaker?
Yeah, over a microphone.
Gotcha.
And I see that.
Okay, so I want to explain this to you guys. I teach you all the time about how to use your trifold, how to use your cop cards. When cops have their guns aimed at you, what you want to do is get your hands in the air and not fucking move. Don't reach over and undo your seatbelt. Don't open the door. Chevy will tell you, do not move. If their guns are pointed at you, get your hands up, and you should have the trifold in your hand because you pled the 5th Amendment. As soon as you're getting pulled over, you should have the trifold down. You should be recording. Right there, as soon as it happens and they got guns pointed at you and say, reach down, take your seatbelt off and get out of the car, don't reach down and take your seatbelt off. Just sit there. They're going to abuse you anyway. There's no point in getting shot before the abuse happens.
They have large weapons pointed at me. You know, every one of them are armed.
Right.
And they exit my brother out of the vehicle from the passenger side. They exit him first. And I was, you know,
touchdown position,
doing everything
Chevy.
that they said, but at one point they had asked me to exit the vehicle, and I was seat buckled. So then I yelled back, you know, I got my seatbelt on, and they couldn't hear me.
Right.
So then when I reached to do it, they shouted, you know, don't move.
Don't reach, Chevy.
I could have been shot at any point.
Don't reach.
You know, it was very scary.
The incident happened on the 16th, and then according to the police reports, that what they call the high-risk felony stop happened on the 20th of July, 2023.
Which has to be abolished. The high-risk felony stop has to turn into a drone follows you. No more high-risk felony stops. Let the guy go, follow him with the drone, siege him, do not breach their house. We have the technology now. We don't have to go crazy with this over-the-top authoritarian military-style operations in a domestic country.
You described it, and I'm sure that was horrific. There was that one part where you're talking about where they're giving you instructions to come out.
Yeah.
And
Listen to
those
this
types
part.
of instructions, if they're sloppily given like they were,
Yeah.
that can get people killed.
Yeah.
We've seen many high-profile examples of that, where the cops give instructions, confusing instructions, or they seem to kind of conflict with other things that they're barking out orders. And they can interpret that if you're going with your hand down to take your seatbelt off as if you're going for a firearm and then light you up.
Right.
So very,
Learn here and now. You learned it on Delete Lawz. If the cops have their guns pointed at you, I'm going to shrink my my thing here. I'm like this. I already know that I pull my trifold down the moment there's a cop behind me and I start recording. Then I'm like this. Touchdown position, like Chevy says. Then right here, the cops say, reach down, take off your seatbelt. No, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to wait till you come up here and grab me because you got your guns pointed at my head and I'm not going to die because someone said I was reaching. And oh, by the way, when you get killed for reaching, nothing happens to the cop. They get away with it. They get away with it 90% of the time, and we all know that. Put a 1 in the chat if it's true. Cops will get away with shooting you. Put a 1 in the chat if that's true.
very lucky that didn't happen. You were smart to try to communicate with them and yell out the window rather than just take your
The biggest
seatbelt
thing
off.
with that is at one point when I exited the vehicle and I was walking backwards, he said to lift my shirt.
Huh.
So I went to lift the bottom of my shirt, and he said, no, stop.
Right.
From the neck, you know? But that wasn't the request you just gave me. So multiple times during that, I could have been killed.
Yeah, I mean, any one of these missteps by the police giving you these orders could have resulted in an officer saying, well, at that point I was in fear for my life. And so
yeah, that's
then
right.
I shot. So these are, if people don't believe that, they need only go to YouTube and search a few of the high profile examples of cops giving orders and then the suspect following the orders and then end up getting shot for their trouble.
Yeah.
So,
And if you watch the video of the stop, and I know you have, like we have many times, you're given conflicting orders at all different times, which again could have ended up in a very bad situation where first they tell you, put your hands outside the vehicle, then they tell you put your hands on the ceiling of the vehicle, and then have you hold there for minutes. Not just
I was in
seconds,
that
but
position
minutes.
10 minutes, I feel.
Yeah. And they have your brother, your close friend, get out of the vehicle. And then again, when you're trying to get out of the vehicle, you're in your seatbelt. Also another problem. And then they tell you, climb out over the center console and get out the passenger door.
Right.
Again, just bizarre stuff that if you don't know who's in that car and what kind of physical condition they're in, if they can even do that in a small car.
Right.
So it just was a very, very dangerous situation. And I know that you didn't know this at the time, that as you're watching the video with law enforcement, this is all on dash cam and body cam, multiple times they're talking about getting lethal force. One officer is saying, get lethal, get lethal.
Grab lethal.
Another officer is
to
saying,
kill
"Do we
you.
want lethal?" Like, yes, get lethal.
kill you.
And they're pointing, as you said, all of their long
Put a 1 in the chat. The cops will kill you, no problem. Go home, sleep it off, and say, well, he reached. And let me tell you something. I told you, the person I talk to on the phone the most is an ex-cop. They feel real bad about it after they're retired. But you're dead.
guns at you, shotgun, I think I saw one time, AR-15, other firearms. And again, police cars are just coming up, sirens wailing, brakes squealing. It's a mess.
Yeah.
yeah, what was communicated to these officers before that stop was, this is a dangerous man who pointed a gun at a fire chief in our town.
Right.
That's what they knew. And so they were treating it as if you were an armed and dangerous suspect who was out to potentially harm them. And
That's exactly correct. We're going to jump ahead just a little bit here because it's an hour video.
Small town that I was in.
Sure.
So I wasn't given a fair break at anything. So I got out and they arrested me. They said, do you know what this is for? I said, no. They said, it's for an incident that happened at a gas station a week ago. And I went into an interrogation room. He had a file with my photo in the gas station. And he said, I'm going to ask you some questions. I opted to plead the fifth. And
Listen to
when
this
I
part.
did that, he said, we got you on camera. And he closed the
Listen to this part very carefully. There's a reason why I have Fifth Amendment cop cards. There's a reason why I have a Fifth Amendment trifold. Listen to this ish right here. The lawyers literally tell him,
file. I was arrested for 4 felony charges, 2 counts of aggravated assault, 2 counts of committing a felony with a firearm. And I, was alone. I was scared. I didn't know who to go to because obviously I knew I didn't do the things that they were telling me I did. But I saw that I was being treated as I did do the things they said I did.
What were they
Could you guys do me a favor? Hit the like button, hit the thumbs up on your screen, or double tap on your phone. Hit the like button for me just real fast. Thank you.
And that you did.
They said I pointed my firearm at a man's chest, and then I went up to their vehicle for no apparent reason, became verbally aggressive.
Right.
And then presented a firearm and pointed it at his chest.
Right.
I had a witness in my vehicle. There was video cameras that could show that. None of that was taken into consideration. The only thing that was taken into consideration was this guy's status in the fire department that led to this case being the way it was handled.
I'm sure in that moment, you're in the police station. They're telling you all this BS that you know is not true. There must have been a temptation to explain yourself and talk to them and try to talk your way out of it.
Not in the slightest.
There must be a temptation to explain yourself. Not in the
and
slightest.
It warms my heart to hear that because you did absolutely the right thing. This is always rule number 1, which is just shut up when the police are asking questions. And I'm sorry to say most of our clients can't resist that urge, right? They're being accused of all these lies and they want to talk their way out of it and explain themselves. You did the right thing because you didn't see the surveillance footage at the time. No. You didn't know what your girlfriend who was in the passenger seat was going to say if interviewed by the cops. You didn't even know what this family were alleging at the time. So that's the worst time to try to talk your way out of it before you see all the evidence. So
you can't talk to cops. I have a 5th Amendment trifold. I got a 5th Amendment driver's card. I got a 5th Amendment passenger or walker card. There's a reason why people buy these from me. There's a reason why I give these away. I've had a conversation with a friend of mine named Joe on email back and forth. I'm mailing him his stuff to France. Joe, I appreciate your support. Thanks for getting a trifold. 3rd attempt to send it to him. You got to have it. You got to memorize every case on there so you can say, I invoked the 5th. And if they say, oh, we're going to extend the stop to call out a drug dog, you can just point to it without saying a word right here. Rodriguez versus United States. You can't extend the stop without violating my rights.
Very nicely done. A+ on invoking your rights. And then to kind of conclude this first part of the story, you're in the police station, you invoke your rights. The cop says, well, we got you on camera, so you're dead to rights anyway.
Right.
And even if you don't want to talk to me, and then slams the file dramatically, and then you're off to jail. Yeah. Tell us about your jail time. How long were you in there? If you had to post bond, all that.
I could tell you all about my jail time.
They initially brought me into the jailhouse in Prescott. So I was in there for about a night, and then they transferred me over to Camp Verde, and I was in there for about 2 nights, I believe. Luckily, I was able to post their cash bond that they wanted me out at. Left.
So you moved back with your family in New York. How did you find out a year later that they had rebrought the charges?
I reached out to my attorney because I never got any closure.
You know, here he's going to talk about his attorney here. He fires his attorney and he goes with these guys, and they're attorneys on retainer in Arizona. But let me tell you something. I'm talking to a man on the East Coast right now who got screwed over by 3 different sets of attorneys, and 2 of those sets of attorneys were veterans, and he's a veteran of the Iraq War.
Never said the case is dismissed, it's closed, anything like that. They still had my firearm and evidence, so it was still over my head. I was thinking about the case almost every day.
So when he told you they refused to bring felony charges, what he was telling you is basically, in your mind, it wasn't done yet.
Right. No.
And in the way that he conveyed it was basically, look, they can rebring the charges any day now.
Right.
So don't get too comfortable.
Right.
So
but he kind of left it open. He left it open as like, they refuse to press charges. There's a reason they refuse to press charges. They don't feel there's a case. Right. So that's a hopeful thinking for me. But I'm aware of the facts that this wasn't being handled properly.
So he made it sound like it was done.
Right.
But it seemed fishy to you that if it's done, why do they still have my firearm and evidence?
No, nothing being said, nothing being done. And that's when, my mother had a grand mal seizure directly related to the stress of this case. It went on for so long.
The case was drug on for so long that unless you get the case in the media like we saw yesterday's case, and then the charges got dismissed, unless it gets massive public attention, like through the civil rights lawyer who's got the biggest civil rights channel on YouTube. Unless you get someone like that, or hopefully I can do it and get enough publicity for your case, we have got to get the case publicized.
Long, and nothing's happening. It's just the same thing being continued. So that's when I finally said, you know, I got to call somebody else. We did our due diligence. You know, we found you guys, luckily. And within, I think it was 2 months or 3 months, not even, you guys had the external video footage, which I was told by my previous counsel there was no external footage.
But you'd sat in a police department and they showed you a picture of
me inside the gas station. But they didn't show me outside the gas station.
Did you hear what he said? He was told by his counsel there was no external video footage. His lawyer told him that.
Got him. But that external video is what proved that these people were lying.
Yes.
You know? And that was something that my previous counsel said was non-existent.
Sure. So JT says a microcosm of the system. So spot on, JT.
First of all, going back to the night all this happened, you got your door closed and you drove off quickly.
Right.
There's Mike in the chat right there. I just mentioned him. Mike was cheated by 3 different sets of an attorney. Michael Vallette there in the chat. 2 of those sets of attorneys were veterans. And Mike in the chat is an Iraqi war veteran. And the people who screwed him the most were also veterans that said, we're here to help you because we're veterans too.
That was the end of it, right? As far as you knew, nothing else was going on. Yeah. And obviously now, as we sit in view, not just the video, but the police reports and the 911 calls, we know that that wasn't what happened.
And so the version that they gave to the police was very, very different than the version that you just gave. So tell us what they said happened.
Okay, listen to this.
In one of the reports, they said, for no apparent reason, I became verbally aggressive and approached their vehicle, went out of my way to approach their vehicle and walk around their vehicle.
Yeah, and you guys welcome Mike Vallette to Team DLZ. Mike, you should be a member of this channel for sure. It's like $5 or something. But Mike has a story, and we're going to reveal part of that story soon. Mike got screwed by veteran attorneys who were veterans. We're here to help you. We're veterans too. Am I wrong, Mike?
And I presented a firearm after the father got out to protect his underage children, who I didn't even know there were underage children, number one. And number two, my interaction wasn't with them. It was with him. They said I walked around the car, I became verbally aggressive, and then I presented a firearm from my waistband and pointed it at his chest. That didn't happen.
Is that what it is? And so it's $3 to be a member. Consider becoming a channel member. The only way this channel survives is off memberships and super chats, because most of the videos that we produce here are demonetized and age restricted. Thank you for your support.
Focusing on that for a second, because when we go back and we look, now we see multiple angles from security camera there at the gas station. And it is very apparent, Matthew, as you're walking out of that store. First of all, you have no option other than to walk by their vehicle because they parked right in front of the door. And secondly, you don't even pause. There's not even a hesitation in your step. You're just walking straight past the vehicle through the next empty parking spot over to your vehicle.
Right.
And you never approach their vehicle.
Never.
It looks like you don't even glance in the direction of this vehicle hardly. Maybe just looking at it because it was right there as you walked out the door. You're certainly not saying anything in the direction of the vehicle. It is truly an innocuous, completely unremarkable event until this guy starts getting angry at you.
Right.
And it was even more specific, these lies that
I said memberships, and all of a sudden, Chevy with 10 gifted membership, Letzo TVO with 10 gifted memberships. Thank you guys for your support. They're $3 a month. I should raise the price to $4 just to keep the channel going, but I am very grateful. Thank you, Letzo TVO. Thank you, Chevy. And Mike Vallette got a gifted membership, as Groundhopper did. I'm going to keep the story going. Thanks, Chevy. Thanks, Letzo TVO. Welcome the new members. God bless you.
That the family told. And when we're saying that they lied, we're not just talking about the fire chief here. We're talking about his family. Unfortunately, this became a family affair where they all kind of colluded together, starting with the wife's statement that she gave to the cops, Very, very specific allegation. She's saying that you walked out of the store, circled the vehicle, saw her child through the glass, all the while she's claiming I was inside of the store, witnessing this from inside of the store. And she claims that you yelled, "I'm going to kick a 15-year-old's ass tonight." And that's why, according to her husband got out of the car in order to just have a friendly chat with you, have a word with you about you shouldn't be disrespectful to teenagers. And then at that point, you victimize the family by pointing your...
So the wife who's in the store says that Michael goes outside, walks up to the car. Now, the wife is in the store. It's going to show a shot of the wife in the store in a second. And then she says that Michael Massucci says, "I'm going to kick a 15-year-old's ass," as he's looking into the car window. It's an outright fabricated lie that got Mike arrested and charged. The fire chief's wife should be arrested.
Your firearm. And that was their version. Right. And then the cops asked the son, who's listed as a victim now in the case, is that what happened? He says, "Yep, that's what happened." Of course, you alluded to this earlier. They tried to interview the chief that night, and he was unable to give a statement. Right. And the reason that they noted was because he was too...
I couldn't speak with Dustin because he was too intoxicated.
Right. To give a statement. That level of intoxication that's required to not even be able to give a statement is very significant. Right. We have cases all the time where people are intoxicated, whether it be witnesses or victims or our clients, and the cops will still get a statement from people who are intoxicated. Right. To be at a level of intoxication that you can't even give a statement, it's pretty astounding. It's rare. I mean, that is very intoxicated.
That's very intoxicated.
And yet he was asked to ID me later on.
Right.
And yet he was...
And then the worst part about it is, the absolute worst part about it is, they're there to get more alcohol.
Too intoxicated to give a statement that night, but now, a year later, he's being asked to identify me.
Yeah.
And just focusing in again on some of the false accusations that were made about you. And I know this may not seem a big deal to people who are watching this, because if they're all lies, then what's the difference? Well, there is a difference between somebody just making kind of an off-the-cuff statement that's not true and one that's really targeted and very malicious. And so this statement about you taking a gun out of your waistband. So let's focus on that for just a second. So first of all, where was the gun located?
At the time, I had it holstered in my center console, in between the seat and the center console.
So definitely not in a waistband anywhere.
I was wearing basketball shorts and flip-flops. Couldn't carry a gun on my waistband, and sports shorts if I wanted to.
Yeah. And so there's no way in the world that you had it on your body, but that would make a difference in this situation. And the reason it makes a difference is if you're getting it out of your waistband and you're threatening them, this sounds an awful lot like all this is happening outside of your car, which is really significant in Arizona. Right. Because when you're in your vehicle, it's treated for many purposes as if you're in your home.
That's right.
Under Arizona's castle doctrine. And if somebody's invading your home or invading your car, that puts them in a really bad legal position.
Yes.
And I don't know if this is something that these folks had experience with or not, but clearly that's a very specific false allegation, and it's a very important false allegation that you're carrying your gun on your body, that you're threatening this official, and that you're threatening his minor son. So these are very specific and focused lies, and they're very important lies. Right. And you're reading this stuff, and you've got to be saying, what in the world's going on? I'm not carrying a gun on my body. It's in my vehicle. I never pointed at these people, and I'm never pointing it at these people, and I'm only displaying it, which I'm allowed to do in Arizona, is to defensively display a firearm to stop somebody from attacking me. Right. Let me ask you, when you displayed the firearm, did that stop him from attacking you?
Sure did.
It worked. Stopped it.
Sure did. Well, as soon as he saw my firearm, he started shouting, what are you going to do? Shoot me? I'm a fire chief. Huh. I told him, if you don't leave me alone, then yeah, I will. And by then, his wife came out of the store, luckily, was able to pull him from my vehicle, and I was able to close my door, which is the only thing I was trying to do, was just close my door and leave.
In Matthew's conversation with you, Andy, I think I understood that your attorney had told you something, though, very specific about the case and about what you were facing and what you might have to take.
Yeah.
What did he tell you about that specifically?
He told me that I may be looking at some jail time because they may want...
This is his attorney. This is his attorney who said you may be looking at some jail time. Let me tell you something. When I was wrongfully arrested in 2002, wrongfully charged, I hired an attorney, the first attorney I hired before I hired Robert Shapiro, and the attorney came down to the dungeon I was in LA County and looked at me and said, "Oh man, you got 5 charges. You may have to do some jail time on this one." I looked at him and said, "You're fired. Get out." I hired Shapiro, Robert Shapiro, who was O.J. Simpson's attorney. He walked in, took a look at it, and he said, "These are bullshit charges, and we know it." And they were.
Something this...
Anytime one of your attorneys tells you that you need to do some jail time on this or you need to be punished for this, that's not your attorney anymore.
Serious is maybe mandated, and they may not want to just completely go for a dismissal because then, and he even said this, they don't want to dismiss it because it shows that they were wrong. And the fact that they dismissed...
Hey, Mike, does that sound familiar? They don't want to dismiss the case because it shows the cops are wrong. Does that sound familiar, Mike Vallette?
Twice, in a sense, from my initial arrest and appearance to then a year and a half later dismissing it again. My attorney told me, it wouldn't look very good for them to do so. Mm-hmm. It's not about what looks good for them. It's
sound familiar,
my
Mike?
life, and I was severely impacted by this. And that's why I'm glad I got you guys.
Was there a point in time where your attorney had said something like, "Look, Matthew, this was an important man. You're going to have to take a felony. You're looking at time. Yeah. I'm just trying to get that time reduced."
He did stress the so-called victim in this case, his status, and especially when it came to the continuance of the appearances. He said, this may be them trying to protect his job in a way.
She loved me on payday. I just got 3 clients off 45 charges on constitutional arguments. Right on, everybody. She loved me on payday. Congratulations. Good job, counselor.
Them continuing you out. He may be, retiring soon or something along those lines. And it wouldn't look good for him if this case comes about and it starts shedding some light on things.
Charges to a grand jury. He believed you are guilty, and he will talk about his visit to our law firm very shortly here.
Listen to this part.
During that initial phone call, we're kind of feeling out a prosecutor, taking their temperature, seeing how serious he was about this. And when we got on the phone with him, he was very damn serious about bringing these aggravated assault charges to a grand jury. He believed you are guilty, and he believed every word that the Parra family had reported to the police.
Okay, so the prosecutor's on the phone with these defense attorneys from attorneys on retainer in Arizona, and the prosecutor tells that Michael's new attorneys that he plans on bringing this to the grand jury and charging him. And let me tell you something. The prosecuting attorney had never seen the video and never looked at it.
There are sometimes things that to you they're really obvious in life, but you understand that somebody else the light bulb hasn't turned on yet. And there was such an instance in this case from the very beginning when I saw the police report and I saw the statements made by the Parra family. And that was that one particular very specific statement that you allegedly made as you were circling their vehicle. "I'm going to kick a 15-year-old's ass tonight."
Right.
That always rubbed me as obviously false.
Right.
And the reason is because how could you look through the glass at night and figure out that the person that you're looking at is exactly 15 years old? Not 14, not 16, not 13, not 17. Right. You were able to immediately discern the age, according to the Parra family.
And for no apparent reason.
And I think it's worth reading.
Yeah. Let's
Why does Mike come out of the convenience store? He's with his girl. She wants some chocolate. She wants some sugar. I want some chocolate and sugar. I understand that. And he walks out of the convenience store and then walks up and says, "I'm going to kick a 15-year-old's ass," not knowing the kid's age. He just guesses. What a scam.
It's worth reading.
What
this
a
is not
scam.
Our opinion. This is the quote. And this was the contact with the wife, the other adult in the situation. She said while she was inside, a Hispanic male approached her vehicle and was staring at her daughter. The male mumbled something, according to her, to the daughter. Then her son looked at the male and said, "What?" And they asked, "Well, what did the male do after that?" She said, "He walked around her vehicle and said, quote, 'I'm going to kick a 15-year-old ass.'" close quote. That's what they're saying. And this is her statement. And we know for a fact, because we watch her on video, that she's in the store, not even looking at you. So in other words, the door's closed, you're outside, she's not even looking at you.
Yeah, as we'll show in the video when we got it later on, and this is funny, as Joey put it, she was buying 2 suitcases full of beer at the time when this incident was happening.
Look at that.
So she was looking at the clerk
Look at
while
that.
the action was going on. But back to our conversation with the prosecutor. While we're taking his temperature and kind of trying our best to reconfigure his brain.
Just go back here, okay? Take a look at this. I'm going to open this bad chicken a little bigger. Take a look at this. The Para, the fire chief, is already slurring, falling down, stupid drunk, and they're at the store buying 2 more racks of Coors. I vehemently disagree with it. And listen, I know a lot of my supporters and friends and even family members like to drink alcohol. The studies are showing us, and the criminal reports and people going to jail is showing us, alcohol equals you get in trouble legally. Alcohol equals problems for your life. I was in Colombia for my uncle's birthday. I had 1 sip of 1 drink, put it down, and circled around and mingled with the crowd. I just don't understand it.
Looking at the clerk while the action was going on. But back to our conversation with the prosecutor. While we're taking his temperature and kind of trying our best to reconfigure his brain about the severity of this case and the veracity of the claims made by the Para family. I said, Mike, the prosecutor's name's Mike. I said, Mike, we're obviously dealing with some false statements here. I mean, maybe you believe some things the Para said, but we can both agree there's some lies going on. His response, I don't believe that. I have no reason not to doubt anything that they're saying. I said,
he believed the fire chief and his lying hooker wife, hook, line, and sinker. Because as far as I'm concerned, she's a trick-ass hoe. You're going to lie about me and say I threatened to shoot you with a gun? No. She's a trick-ass hoe.
That 15-year-old ass comment, let's talk about that. We both agree that these families have never met before in their lives, right? The Para family doesn't know my client at all. No, yeah, we can agree on that. They don't seem to have any history. So tell me how my client can accurately perceive the exact age of a 15-year-old through the glass at night, having never met them before.
I don't talk like that.
To me, that is it. Well, Mike doesn't know you and how you talk. But to me, that is so obvious.
Yeah.
And Mike was like, oh, yeah, I guess that does make sense. How would he know the specific age of the child he's never...
So the prosecutor doesn't read it and go, oh, I'm going to kick a 15-year-old's ass, and he doesn't realize that they're lying, that he just fabricated this?
Encountered before. So a simple thing like that started... It was the first little initial thread that was pulled that started leading to more and more. But as Joey pointed out, we were even sitting there on the phone with him, talking to him about different timestamps of the video, saying, here's what happened, here's what happened, here's what happened. He just wasn't seeing it. He just wasn't seeing it. And to be fair, this is not a crystal clear video, right? We're showing images of it on the screen right now. This is a grainy, nighttime, convenience store surveillance camera quality video. So to be fair to Mike, it wasn't crystal clear obvious until we got our expert involved.
Yep. Also, there's another factor here, which...
And that's funny. The expert is a guy like me who's been editing for 10 years, who just changed the contrast, changed the lighting a little bit, and all of a sudden you can see that Para is in Michael's door trying to fight him.
This happens all the time with video, and people have this preconceived idea, this bias that, well, if it's on video, that shows everything. And it doesn't. And this case is a great example of it for many reasons. One, the lighting. It's dark, it's grainy, it's low resolution. Two, the angle. So the angle of the various cameras doesn't show all of the action that's going on. Most importantly, on the camera that for us was really, really important, the exterior camera that at least caught a portion of your vehicle and caught the most critical information here, there's technical problems with the camera. At one point, all of a sudden, it just drops several seconds. Doesn't even show what's going on. Don't have any explanation for that. Still don't know today because, again, with the case dismissed, we don't have the ability to go out and subpoena people and, get the raw footage, if it even exists anymore 2 years later. But what the police captured that evening, at least, there's a chunk of time missing that's pretty important. It's the lead up to the most important section, which shows this guy standing in your door. But there were many problems with this. And so one of the things we had to do was, first of all, find, does this show what we think it shows? And then secondly, get an expert involved who could actually do a lot more with this than we could.
So that's when Dr. Black enters the story, and he's an expert that we use to do forensic analysis on videos. We've worked with him in the past, and he happened to actually be in the office that day because I think we were filming a podcast talking about a big Supreme Court case with him that day, and he was like, "Hey, let me help you out with that video enhancement," because he knew about the case, and he hopped on and he did his thing, and he was able to zoom in and enhance and change saturation and everything like that, such that it made it much more clear. So we called up the prosecutor again, and we coordinated with him to have him actually come into the office and sit down with us in our conference room and blow it up on the big screen and walk him through piece by piece. Slow motion, pause, here's the timestamp, here's the date stamp, here's what happened. And once we did that, and to his credit, it's a little unorthodox. The prosecutor was willing to do that, come in and actually sit down with us. I think after that first conversation of slightly reconfiguring his brain and making him ask a few questions like, maybe what the Parra family is saying isn't 100% gospel, he came in with an open mind, I think, to that meeting.
And what led up to that was, by the time we had this video enhanced, he could see that there were numerous problems with the statements that were made, and he was actually starting to say, I think we've got some real issues here. But the one fact that kept hanging him up was he's telling us, like, look, Andy, look, Joey, your guy is saying that Mr. Parra is inside his door. So then I don't see that. I can't see any evidence of that. And that's a big factor, that your guy's saying he's inside the door, and that's when he displayed the firearm. Why? Again, go back to Arizona's castle doctrine. The prosecutor knows that if this guy is inside your door, preventing you from closing the door and threatening you, that, first of all, now Arizona's castle doctrine kicks in. There's a presumption that this guy is there to do something bad to you, to commit a crime against you, and you can shoot and kill him. And the prosecutor is concerned about that. That's a really big issue. The other problem is that would show that Mr. Parra is the one that's actually committing a crime against you. These are both really big legal issues. And so that one little issue of, was your door open or was your door closed, was a very huge fact and a very big legal issue. And so we kept telling him, Mike, the door is open. You can see him standing inside Matthew's open door, and he just couldn't see it. We said, Mike, would you please come to the office? We'll walk you through it. If you can't come to our office, we'll come to yours. And he said, I'll come to your office, which was a drive. He came to our office.
He's complimenting the prosecutor because he has to work with this prosecutor in the future.
Andy was saying, we had this enhanced video. We put it up on our very large screen. We all stood there right in front of it, and we walked through it frame by frame.
Okay, now watch this shit right here. So you see, this is Mike Parra, the fire chief, and he's in the crack of the door of Michael's car, who has just gone to his car and got his girlfriend some treats. That's all they were doing. That's all they were doing.
And you should have seen his face when we're pointing out the section of your car and we're saying, look, you can see Mr. Parra's legs through your open door. We're looking down through your windshield and you see him standing there. And he's like, oh, wow. And then the real conclusion to this is you can see your arm reach out and pull the door shut. Should have seen his face when that happened. There's no question whatsoever.
Boom.
That the things that you were saying were 100% right. That this guy was being untruthful and was making statements that they were just flatly false.
And the things that the Parra family were saying were 100% wrong. And you think to yourself, if somebody's watching this podcast and thinking, how could they possibly miss this stuff? It happens all of the time. All of the time. The video's grainy, and the cops have in their mind, it's kind of like confirmation bias. They have in their mind what happens in that grainy, blurry scene. And they don't take the time to sit down, enhance it, blow it up, and actually see what happens. So in sum, what the video shows, and we'll show the clips as we're talking about it right now, It shows you buy something at the convenience store, walk out, not walk around their car, simply walk over to your vehicle, get confronted by this man and pursued back to your vehicle. It shows you enter your vehicle, sit in it, and then you go to close your door and he positions himself in your doorway so that you cannot close it.
Right
it's even
there.
actually worse
There's
than
Para.
that. You can see his arm pushed the vehicle open all the way. The vehicle's open maybe at about a 45-degree angle
There's
when he
Para.
puts himself in there. And you can actually see him push it open all the way. To put that in legal
There it
terms
is.
that are relevant here, he's demonstrating to you that he's ready to make an unlawful entry to harm you
There it
in
is.
your vehicle, in an occupied vehicle. So after that, as best as we can tell, you can see a family member come up and grab him, and he actually shoves the family member away. We believe that that family member is his 15-year-old son.
The 15-year-old son.
So in other words, there's only one person who committed assault against a 15-year-old that night, and that was Mr. Para. Then that luckily gives you enough time to get access to your firearm and display it and tell him, back up, back up. And then luckily that works. He's still talking smack to you, but his wife comes and then pulls him away. You close the door and drive away. So that is in sum exactly what the enhanced videos now much more clearly show.
Yeah.
Now, once we presented this to the prosecutor, and once he came in, because it took maybe, a couple of phone calls and the meeting to convince him that, what I just described is actually what took place, to his credit, he now conceded that there's major problems in the state's case, and that he did not believe.
So let me make this announcement to everybody who ever tells me, oh, my lawyer told me not to say anything. You get your video publicized. The biggest channel on YouTube is the Civil Rights Lawyer. He's the biggest channel in this space. Get it to him first because he's going to get the most exposure. If you can't reach him, then you reach one of us other guys who gets a big following but not quite as much exposure as the Civil Rights Lawyer. So you want to publicize your video. That's what you want to do.
Believe that the charges should go forward.
Well, I was really impressed by what he said in court. So there was a court appearance where Mike had advised us, look, we're going to have to continue this one more time. I've got a lot of hoops to jump through, which he does. Any case where there's an alleged victim, he has to advise them of what's going on, and he has to advise his chain of command. And he realized this was going to have, some implications. And so he let us know he was going to have to continue it. You were at that hearing virtually. Andy was at that hearing virtually. We have that, and we can play that for our members.
On Thursday of last week, I went over personally to their office in Chandler to sit down and go through the original video plus their enhanced video. And what I saw with their assistance, Your Honor, was information that has caused me to become of the opinion that this case cannot and should not proceed.
He went on. On the record and advised the court this is a serious issue, and this case is probably going to have to be dismissed. I thought he was, again, very honorable.
Yes, absolutely. Now, of course, and that's the happy ending here, is that the case was ultimately dismissed on the state's motion. But
what I said was, this shows you that you want to make sure that you get your video publicized. And what I was saying a second ago is that the Civil Rights Lawyer is probably the biggest channel in this space that gets the most views. If you can't get a hold of Civil Rights Lawyer to show your video, contact me. I'll show your video. I have no problem with it. No problem with it at all. We have got to make sure that we publicize videos that show where the government is cheating you.
I'm sure many viewers are thinking, and I certainly am, the fact that the state finally did the right thing after we had to beat them over the head with it over the course of several months doesn't make you whole. No. It doesn't fix the damage that you got as a result of these lies and misconduct and incompetence on every level of the justice system. This is a story about what happens when you're victimized by somebody who's in the special club. Because you ain't in it, Matt.
No, I know
you ain't in it. You ain't in it. And somebody in that special club chose to victimize you that night. And after victimizing you, they then lied. He and his family lied about you in a coordinated effort, which caused severe damage. Because not only did you have this incredibly traumatic felony stop, which could have, as we pointed out several times, ended in your death or serious injury. Not only did you have to get taken down to the police station, treated like a criminal, not only did you have to do time in jail and take your family's valuable resources in order...
Right, Steve Conkler, Chevy Nova 63. Mary, we never stop. Put it in the chat, everybody. We don't stop. Ripple Effect Media is in the chat, everybody. Check out his channel. We never stop fighting. You don't go offing yourself to be a martyr. F that. You keep fighting. You don't give up. You keep fighting. When I got out of jail last year, I was so depressed for 6 months at least till January, February, March of this year. And I had the crowd like Jennifer Hill, like Chevy, like Russian Plant, constantly sending me emails saying, you'll be okay. You're going to be all right. Keep fighting. Clown Patrol. It's so hard. It's so hard. You email me first, and then I send you a link where you can send me the video. So you can't give up the fight. You can't give up the fight, ever. We don't stop. Put it in the chat, Jeff Facone.
To be able to walk out of jail that day.
That's right, Freeman
Not only
Keys.
did you have to have this hanging over your head for the year while it was pending, in addition to all of that stuff, you had to pay for an attorney. You're not an attorney's on retainer client. Needless to say, if you were, this is the type of case that we would absolutely be covering because it's clear self-defense in our view.
Yep.
Despite what the police and the fire chief and the prosecutor thought. But in addition to all of that stuff, you were also flamed in the media. Can you talk about that? There was news stories about you.
Yeah.
This just chaps my ass, how the media can run these hit pieces on you, and the entire community of Prescott believed that Michael was guilty of pulling a gun on the fire chief.
It was 4 news stations that put out, media releases on a police report that they had from the Prescott Police Department, but even that Prescott Police Department statement was different from the arrest statement. They had added things, changed things, and it just showed me more like, they don't have to, they're not following the rules. They're just saying whatever was said against me, and that's it. So it was extremely, extremely stressful and scary,
And Prescott, once again, this is a small town. Many of our viewers right now who are watching live in a small town. And don't underestimate the fact that if there's 4 stories about you published in a small town, that's everybody in the town now knows.
It carried me to New York.
Put a 1 in the chat if you live in a small town. Put a 1 in the chat if you live in a small town and any media created about you, even on Facebook. If someone writes a post about you and you live in a town with 5,000 people, 2,000 people in that town might believe you're bad. That's defamation. You do that to me and I'll sue your ass. But put a 1 in the chat if you live in a small town, you're from a small town, and that one bad media report about you has at least half of the town thinking you're bad.
First moved back to New York. I tried to getting jobs. Now I need to find a new job. So I went back and I started, going to interviews. Some of these interviews would go great. They'd like me. They liked my experience, liked my references. But then I'd leave. They'd Google my name. They'd see that I was accused of threatening a family with a firearm.
Happened to me.
Who wants a guy like that working for them?
Happened to me.
I don't blame them, but that's not who I am. And it's the same thing with this family. They don't know who I am. They don't know who depends on me. They don't know who I love, who loves me.
That's right.
And yet they were so ready to just end my life, which is insane to think about,
And so let me just say this, and everybody reverts to themselves and what they're going through, and this is a reaction video anyway. People say to me, Chille, why are you suing these people? You wanted just to destroy my reputation, to destroy my credibility, and you had no problem doing it, making up stories about me and lying about me, and I have it on video, and I have witnesses that can prove that you're a lying fucking fraud. And you think you should be able to get away with it because you're an activist? Fuck you, dude. You fuck with me, I'll sue your ass if you're lying and I can get you.
Just think about the timing. July 16 of 2023. Here we sit today, August 18, 2025. Okay, this case wasn't dismissed until last month.
And you still don't have your firearm back.
Yeah.
It's still being held in police custody. We're working on getting that back for you, but it's outrageous.
Yeah.
Yep. So 2 years. 2 years of this thing hanging over your life, destroying your life, losing your job, losing your place to live, having to move across the country, and then dealing with the fear and the anxiety. And most people don't realize the fear and the anxiety that comes every day when you wake up and you realize,
no, he still doesn't have his weapon back. And you got to email me, brother. Someone put my email address in there for DJ Daniel. Put my email address in there. I'll take a look at your video and we can talk about it.
somebody wants me to go to prison. Somebody wants me to have a felony.
You can't stop thinking about it.
And all of this because you chose to do the right thing and not shoot a man dead at the time and destroy him and his family's life. So quite a story for you, Matthew.
A couple of just auxiliary issues that I think are kind of to go back and clean up and smooth over a few parts of the story. From what we've learned, and this is through secondhand sources and police report and everything like that, we can't verify all this stuff. But from what we've learned, the reason why Mr. Parra was so heavily intoxicated that night is because I believe he was coming from a funeral. I think a close relative had just died. There's a sympathetic story about why he was in a depressed state, for sure. Of course, this does not justify in any way, shape, or form victimizing you. But then, you know, after you're sober in the morning and you're still corroborating on lives with your family, as far as I'm concerned, this excuse is completely out the window. And the fact that he allowed this to go on, knowing that there was an innocent man that was being victimized from this, is one of the most outrageous parts of the entire story.
Yeah.
So I think that's an important thing to mention. We've also discovered that since this incident, his life has been going pretty well. In fact, he was promoted. Chief Parra works at the Central Arizona Fire and Medical Authority, and he was recently promoted, I believe, in the fall of 2024 to the Deputy Chief of Operations with that.
This piece of shit gets a promotion after he was so outrageously drunk that he attacks Michael Mucci, I think this name is, and this piece of shit gets a promotion. That, to me, is par for the course with this country.
That organization. So his life has been moving up, and he's been doing just fine since this incident. All the while, your life has been in shambles, and you've had to deal with this craziness. We tell people this all the time. Even if you are ultimately acquitted, even if you eventually get a good defense and the charges are dismissed, you're not going to feel like a winner at the end. You know? And so you've been wronged. No doubt about that. Any final thoughts that you wanted to leave our listeners with?
I want to say that, you know, the only regret I have throughout this whole thing is not hiring you guys sooner. And
there it is right there. Let's speak the truth 101. There it is right there. It is such a scam. And I told you guys this 100 times over again. The cops can kill you and get away with it. And they say, oops, it was an accident. I didn't mean to. So now this one right here, cop allegedly confuses taser with his gun and then denies it later. Listen to this.
Damn, what up, y'all? This y'all, huh? This plate don't match, man. Hold on. Where you going? Hold on.
You know, he's going to kill him because his license plate doesn't match the VIN number on the van. He does, he kills him.
Got one on foot. One into T Park. Yo, stop running. I'm going to fucking tase you. Oh, shit.
Boom. And then he says, oh, shit. You can hear it.
Oh, shit. Oh, shit. I did not mean to do that.
I did not mean to do that, he says.
Put that right there. Did you shoot at me? I thought you said gun, bro. Gun.
Oh, no, this isn't the guy that died. He just got shot at.
Yeah.
Bro, you shot at me, man. No, he didn't shoot a gun at you.
Yes, this right here. This.
Yes, he did.
Taser. He shot a gun at me.
No, I didn't.
Taser. I heard a gun.
That wasn't me, bro.
He shot a gun.
How?
I heard a gun.
That's why you use this. It's coming out.
The difference between a gun and a taser.
Yeah, he pulled a gun and he shot at him. And then he said, oh, I didn't really have a gun. You didn't get shot at. And all the cops there on the scene are gaslighting him. So who's the good cop there? Who's the good cop? One cop shoots at him and the other cop says, oh, no, he didn't shoot at you. He heard the gunshot. Cops are trained to listen for gunshots, obviously. And here's where policy, procedure, and protocol must be changed. Okay, do you see what's going on right here? So this woman is intoxicated at a football game, and of course they come in with 20 JBTPs. Put in the comment section, JBTP. Watch this ish right here. Okay, so she missed. Let me show it again. She does a glancing smack that a woman does off the guy's noggin, and just it looks like her pinky finger may catch the side of his bald head. And look at the reaction from the JBTP. Put in the comment section, JBTP. Miss. Clean whiff. Did you see it? I wish I had this. This is on Reddit, so I can't slow it down. But watch this. It's a clean whiff. She may have caught the tip of her pinky on the guy's head. Maybe. Missed. Completely missed. And he uppercuts her and knocks her unconscious. And then they just carry her out. And that's policy, procedure, and protocol. It's all the same, all the time, regularly. That the cops, hey, we may have knocked her out, but she took a swing at our officer. We were just following policy. What are you talking about? There's 7, 8, how many cops are on there? 1, 2, 3, 4 that I can see right here. 4 cops, and then the guy in the red hat there. Wow. And this is regular. This is how cops in this country treat us. That's how it is. If you in any way, shape, or form do anything that's going to attack them, well, then they get to kill you. They get to beat the holy
It is a
shit
misdemeanor
out of you.
case that has come with a heavy price in Cibolo. The town's decision to hire a police officer with a previous family assault charge resulted in that officer losing his license and several supervisors being reprimanded by the state. As KSAT investigates, Dylan Collier reports Cibolo has now spent well over $100,000 to fight those findings.
You ever look at your city budget and think, wow, I hope my tax dollars are being spent responsibly? Yeah,
No.
same.
No. They're not. I mean, put a 1 in the chat if they're not spending our tax dollars right. Our tax dollars are spent on cops, cages, bombs, and wars. We can ship our money over to Ukraine and to Israel, but there's no money for us. There's 50,000 homeless people in LA. Let me tell you something. The number one problem facing America is homelessness, because they take a shit and they eat every day. So they put the trash right on the street here in LA. I was in Bogota, Colombia. It's cleaner than it is here in Los Angeles.
Because in Cibolo, Texas, officials looked at over $100,000 of taxpayer money and said, you know what this should go toward? Defending a police officer the state already said shouldn't be a cop. According to public records, the city of Cibolo spent more than $104,000 on outside lawyers after the Texas Commission on Law Enforcement revoked an officer's license.
They were given, let me read that real quick. I want to read that little blurb right there. They were given one last chance to separate and return each other's property to end the conflict, but they refused.
License. Not suspended, not needs retraining, revoked. The officer? Arnulfo Cortez. The problem? A past family...
Now remember, if this dirty jackboot thug pig had come to your house for a call, or you had to interact with him and said, hey, I want a different cop. This guy's a thug. The other cops would have told you how much salt of the earth this guy is. He's salt of the earth. He's a good officer. They always say the same thing. Let me tell you something. I don't think all cops are disgusting, nasty pigs, but I don't trust a single one of them. I've seen some videos where some cops do some good things. I've met some cops who seem like they're good, but I don't trust a single fucking one of them. Put a 1 in the chat if you feel exactly the same. You may hold out hope that the great white buffalo good cop exists, but you don't trust a single one of them.
Violence case the state says disqualifies him from law enforcement. The city's response?
Why don't you call it a peace officer certificate like it's called, dude?
Challenge accepted.
What did he say in total? Let me just get this.
The state says disqualifies him from law enforcement.
The state says.
The city's response? Challenge accepted.
Okay, so the city wants to stand up for this dirty pig. When people film...
Let's rewind to 2014. Cortez and his then wife were both arrested after a domestic dispute. Both charged with assault, family violence. Cortez received a deferred disposition, which was later dismissed. And this is where police departments love to play lawyer. It was dismissed. It wasn't a conviction.
JT became a member, everybody. JT's been a member of Team DLZ for a long time. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's the wrong response.
Technically, yes. Technically. Which is why T. Cole still said no. Because when you're issuing guns and authority, technically doesn't always cut it.
8 years before he was hired by the Cibolo Police Department, Arnolfo Cortez had a much different interaction with officers there. 4th of July, 2014, officers called to this home encountered Cortez, who told them his estranged wife had entered the residence, taken one of his loaded handguns, and locked herself in a bathroom.
Did I see Sammy in the chat? $5 super chat from Jess Vacone. Somebody match me. Team DLZ, we don't stop. Thank you. I appreciate that, Jeff. God bless you, dude.
After she came out, records show Cortez and his then wife struggled over a suitcase in front of police, and despite being warned to stop, continued, quote, violent behavior with each other. Months after the couple was arrested, Cortez pleaded no contest to a Class C misdemeanor charge of assault family violence, the lowest level criminal offense available in Texas, and used only when the victim has no visible injuries. Cortez was given 6 months deferred disposition, and in May 2015, the case was dismissed from his criminal record. But the assault incident popped back up in a major way last year. Cortez, who became a licensed peace officer in 2018 and then got hired by Cibolo in 2022, was flagged during an audit of the department by the Texas Commission on Law Enforcement. T. Cole canceled Cortez's license in February of last year. And
Justin Pulliam is in much better shape than this guy, but he kind of looks like Justin Pulliam a little bit.
Moved to an administrative role with Cibolo PD while fighting to get reinstated.
But the city of Cibolo wasn't convinced. They decided the state licensing authority was wrong, so they hired lawyers. Expensive lawyers. On your dime. And just to be clear, this wasn't about protecting the public. This was about protecting a badge, and everyone involved in handing it out.
Cibolo officials were aware of the family violence case, but didn't believe it disqualified him from being hired. Neither did the Universal City Police Department when it brought Cortez on board in 2018, or the Guadalupe County Sheriff's Office, which hired him in 2019.
He has valiantly served and protected our community with honor, professionalism, and dedication.
In mid-June, Cibolo Police Chief...
Right, he just beats his wife at home. He just has fights with his wife to where the cops are coming. Right on. Chevy Nova with the $5 super chat. Chevy with the $5 super chat. Right on. A membership is $3 a month. Thanks for your support, Nikki.
Cedric Andrus pleaded with the commission to restore Cortez's license. The hearing, however,
I'm going to correct you, George,
repeatedly went off the rails.
I'm sorry, I'm speaking now.
As Cibolo's attorney sparred with commissioners,
this is ad hoc and the rules are changing,
over how much time he was given to present his side.
So you're not going to take action on my request?
I am not taking action on your request.
Commissioners voted to keep Cortez's license canceled. No longer able to serve as a peace officer, he resigned from the department 8 days later.
Of course, he resigns to try to preserve his peace officer certificate.
Here's the fun part. The city didn't just spend money defending the officer. Records show they also paid legal fees to defend supervisors involved in his hiring and background check. Because when accountability shows up, suddenly everyone needs a lawyer.
Records obtained by KSAT show the city has spent well over $104,000 in outside legal fees so far, defending Cortez and 4 Cibolo officials who either conducted or supervised Cortez's background investigation. The city's safety director was given a warning by T. Cole while 3 police supervisors were handed letters of reprimand. Dylan Collier, KSAT investigates.
You know, there's people in the chat right now who are explaining how much they're struggling financially, but yet these organizations that support the cops will spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to defend hiring a rogue, abusive woman, allegedly woman beater cop. Well, was it alleged or was it a domestic disturbance? I want to be clear here. So I'm going to retract that he's a woman beater, but he was, just so you know, in the history of my entire life, I've never had a domestic dispute ever. There's never a 911 call where a woman called the police and said that I was abusing her. That has never happened. Not once ever in my life. As soon as I see that the woman and I can't get along, I leave. I walk right out that front door, gone, 2 seconds flat. If you cannot control yourself and you're a man and you're supposed to be based on logic, when there's a meltdown happening, whether it's her fault or your fault, your job as the man is to leave. To leave. And I've told every girlfriend I've ever had, if I ever hit you, call the cops and have me arrested. Because men cannot beat women. That is bullshit. I don't support domestic violence or woman beaters.
Well, reach for comment. The chief of Universal City Police says that the family violence case would likely prevent Cortez from being rehired. Guadalupe County Sheriff Joshua Ray says Cortez should never have been hired by the previous administration. Now, Cibolo officials continue to fight the discipline issued by T. Cole. Police leadership declined to speak with KSAT on camera for this story since the litigation is still ongoing. The case is now before the 15th Court of Appeals in Austin. Records show Cortez removed himself from the appeal in early October.
So I want to show you something. A video got sent to me earlier today by AI Police Wizard. AI Police Wizard. I'm going to subscribe to his channel. I'm going to like his video. He sent me this video, he or she, I'm not sure. I only saw a couple seconds of it, and I thought to myself, if there's going to be someone out there who's going to film cops and they only have 150 subscribers, I'm going to show his video. This is the very beginning of the video, and this is in Pinellas County. And the name of this channel is AI Police Wizard. Pinellas County Sheriffs misquote the Halo law. So I think, is that going to be in Florida? I'm not 100% sure. Is that Arizona or was that in Florida? Never, dude, never. If a woman loses her cool or you're losing your cool, remove yourself from the situation. So he's filming. He's across the street. Now he's going to cross the street. Now, so right there, you see where he crossed the street and there's no crosswalk? That's going to be the 2019 case of Nivs versus Bartlett out of Alaska. A very bad holding that the majority decision, I think it was unanimous? 5-4 maybe, I think it was. I'll look it up. But the point is, Nivs versus Bartlett says that the police can arrest you and it's not a retaliatory arrest as long as you give them probable cause. They've created laws in this country where it's illegal to cross the street, where it's a crime if you cross the street, even if you don't interrupt traffic. So he crosses the street here. And here comes this interaction. And then I stopped it and I just said, I'm going to show this to the crowd and see what they think. That's true, Michael Nelson. A woman can still call the cops and say you hit her. But that's never happened to me. Not once ever in my life. Never, ever. So he's allowed to walk up and film inside that cop car.
Good evening, gentlemen. How you doing? Awesome.
AI Police Wizard.
I'm just engaged in a constitutionally protected First Amendment activity. Go back to work. Shut the fuck up. Go back to work.
Exactly. Shut the front door.
Don't talk to me. I don't want to talk to you.
Exactly.
I don't want to talk to you. Leave me alone. You must have an intent.
There is Florida statute. Yeah, women don't ever lie, ever, ever. Half the guys who I met in jail last year were in jail. Half of the guys in jail for domestic violence who I met last year sat down with me and told me, dude, I didn't touch her. The cop pushed her into it and saying, well, did he push the door open to leave? And she said, yeah, he pushed me out of the way to leave. They charged him with domestic, stripped away a Second Amendment.
Interfere or impede. You must cause substantial emotional distress, or you must threaten with physical violence. Learn the statute. Be quiet. Be quiet.
Don't
learn the
AI police wizard. Don't put your fingers in front of the lens, brother.
Statute.
Well, Greg B says, I'm so fucking sick of officer safety. That comes from Terry versus Ohio. There's no such thing as officer safety over all your rights without the 1968 case of Terry versus Ohio. I love you, Greg. You're the best, brother.
Listen, I'm not cussing at you, okay? She's not minding her own business.
Rancho Relaxo got a double XL hoodie. Rancho Relaxo, I'll send out that hoodie to you on Monday, brother.
I'm not cursing at you, okay? Okay. Do me a favor.
Do me a favor?
Take 4 or 5
no,
steps
I don't do.
No.
25 yards.
No.
Okay?
There must be an intent. There must be an intent to interfere or impede. There must be substantial emotional distress, or I must threaten you with physical violence. It's a 2-part statute.
That's
I
fine.
will sue you.
That's fine.
You will lose your qualified immunity, and I will sue you personally. No, thank you. No, thank you.
Thank you.
No, thank you. Goodbye.
You see his hand shaking right there? My hand shakes like that too. Don't tell anybody that I'm a human being and that when there's a man with a gun and a backup with lots of guys with guns, that your adrenaline surges. It doesn't mean you're scared. It means you're standing in the face of tyranny and your hand might shake a little bit because you're taking on cops with a camera and they got guns. I understand why your hand's shaking, AI police wizard.
Has to be one of the 3. Constant violation of people's constitutional rights, the constant and insidious misquoting of the HALO statute. They do it all the time. They lie to everybody. And then when we call them out on it, they keep trying to give us our unlawful directives.
Yes.
And they do it over and over again. I don't understand it.
Yeah, this channel, this guy's channel, AI Police Wizard, if you take a look at his channel, the most of his videos are him teaching workouts and showing workouts. And he's got videos 5 years old. And then all of a sudden, 2 months ago, he starts posting police misconduct videos. I wonder when he got cheated by the cops. Put a 1 in the chat if you think this guy got cheated by the cops and started auditing.
And then they try to get me to yell so they can charge me with disturbing the peace and get somebody to complain. And they do it on purpose.
Of course they do, bro. Of course they do.
Blows my mind.
And that's the whole thing. Like Mike Villette just put in the chat, the cops are the low man on the totem pole. I'm going to disagree with you there, Mike. These guys are the tip of the spear of tyranny. I'm the tip of the spear on transparency. They want to dull my spear and take away my transparency, just like they tried to take away this man's transparency.
And then we get a few good officers who understand and obey the Constitution and understand the true HALO law. And then we get a few of them that just keep misquoting it. I don't get it. This is AI Police Wizard doing another audit.
AI Police Wizard, I just promoted your channel, brother. Hopefully you get some subscribers. I really hope that you do, because it takes real nuts to stand in front of these guys.
I actually prefer that they adhere to my constitutional rights and they leave me alone.
I agree with you, AI Police Wizard. I agree with you.
Is he somebody you don't want me taking video of?
I would prefer not.
Okay, all right. I'll keep it this way. I'll keep it this way.
I just ask that you step to the other
No,
side
thank you.
And this is where I agree with AI Police Wizard. I don't film victims. I don't film people who are injured, who are laying on a gurney. I don't film the clerks in a lot of the courthouses because they didn't do anything to me.
No, thank you.
When they transfer him from there to there, you will move
I'll
back.
I'll turn it around.
No, your person will move back. We have a right to maintain 25 feet of safety around us.
You got more than 25 feet, you pigtail.
must be an intent to interfere or impede. There must be a substantial emotional.
There's 25 feet.
Must be an intent to interfere or impede. There must be substantial emotional distress, or you must be threatened with physical violence. You keep skipping the second part.
Boom.
Which one is it?
For everybody in Florida who films cops, my shout out to my boy Chuck Bronson. Right here, you're seeing it. You're absolutely seeing it.
And of course I'll move out of the way. But don't give me your directives. When you move him, let me know. I'll turn the camera away from him so his life isn't risked.
AI wizard, you got to stop covering the camera with your fingers, though, brother. Congratulations on getting your boots on the ground.
Let me turn the camera around so they don't see him.
I love boots on the ground. You don't got to do that.
I know you guys are trying to get testimony.
Don't cover the camera, AI. Got to be real careful. He's new.
God damn.
He's new, so I understand. Rancho Relaxo! Dude, listen, I understand, man.
I don't know, some kind of arrest. They keep misquoting the HALO law. They keep misquoting the HALO law, saying you have to stay 25 feet back. It's a lie. There has to be an intent to interfere or impede. There has to be substantial emotional distress, or they have to be threatened with violence. They lie constantly. I'm not taking video with a guy because they probably need testimony from him. Usually it's drugs. So when they do that, I don't take pictures of the guy they're arresting. So, my channel's AI Police Wizard. You look it up. It's just AI Police Wizard on YouTube. Okay? I swear to God, I need to print out the HALO law.
Melania's in the room, everybody. Good to see you, Melania.
I'll make sure that I can't see him.
I really appreciate this guy out here putting his boots on the ground filming cops. I really appreciate it. Thank you for your work. It's constant. Let me see if I can pull this video that Team DLZ sent me.
Now I have to make sure to call his sergeant and file a complaint. This is getting really annoying. That these Pinellas County sheriffs have got to constantly lie about the HALO law. They always skip the second half. They can't just say 25 feet. There must be an intent to interfere or impede. There must be substantial emotional distress, or I have to threaten a first responder with physical harm. And they always skip the second part of the statute, which our legislature was smart enough to put in so these scumbag, jackboot, thug, pig pieces of shit would not constantly misquote the law. And then every once in a while, we actually get a good sheriff who understands the law and is thrilled to actually get the photography done. Because when they do it right, I back them up. But this reprehensible misquoting of the laws and constant lying by police officers is getting tiresome. And if you notice something about my channel, I never take pictures of the perp if they need to get information about the guy for an active and ongoing investigation. But of course, they don't notice that. I would prefer to work with them, not against them. The channel's AI Police Wizard. God damn. These guys have got to stop with their directives. I swear their training is like a robot.
Of course it is.
And then they always use the little officer safety thing so that they can violate people's constitutional rights. The only thing I have in my hand is a camera. It blows my mind, the utter stupidity of these people.
Well,
I swear to God, what do? Get the stupidest people they can possibly imagine?
Yes.
Giving unlawful directives and constantly misquoting the law and the statutes?
Yes.
I think the truth is they actually know, and most people are too stupid, and they allow them to get away.
Put a one in the chat if he's speaking the absolute truth. Yes, they hire a bunch of fucking moron beta male cucks. And listen, there are some alpha male cops who got duped into going to the military, believing that they're fighting for our freedom. We're a mercenary army now, and I respect the hell out of all the people who serve in the military. But if you join the military now, it's a dupe. Now you're bombing Venezuelan boats, and you're going over to Iraq. And ask Michael Vallette; he's in the chat. He got duped, went to Iraq. There's a lot of alpha males who are cops, but they got duped. And any alpha male who becomes a copper, he leaves pretty quickly as soon as he figures out that being a cop is a scam.
With it. Anyway, I think this is over. So everybody can catch me this week after I clean this video up and I make sure that I blur out the I think I need to blur out his plate and I need to blur out the person. Anyway, everybody have a good day.
Gotcha, buddy. Thanks. So that's AI Police Wizard. I hope you got a little bit of publicity from this. My channel's pretty shadow banned, but I hopefully you get a little bit of a bump. AI Police Wizard. I really hope you keep on filming cops. I appreciate what you're doing, brother.
And this is over taxes. Show them. Grab them taxes. Show them what they did.
This disgraced mayor threatened to blow up a courthouse with help from his 101 cousins after the county auditor refused to entertain his repeated requests for tax refunds.
Yeah, so there's a cell phone number. So that's part of his complaint, but whatever.
County owes me on a building that's under construction? That isn't even what he called me for. That sounds like a Kathy Joe, like land bank thing.
He's nuts.
Yep.
Oh,
You
no.
dealt with him? Yep.
Well, now he's going to be the ex-mayor here, probably. Has he been here this week in person that you're aware of? I've never seen him.
No, I've never seen him.
Okay.
He only called the one time today? Or the twice?
Well, he called yesterday.
Okay.
We're so busy we can't return calls.
Understood.
He called yesterday. He was nasty to her, but he wasn't like making any threats. And then I guess he called today. He must have got court. Did he get you right off the bat?
I don't know if he got me, Nicole first, then me, then Nicole again, but he talked to Fran too, so I don't
That was
know
today?
how that worked.
He talked to you today, Fran, or yesterday?
Yesterday.
But he was no threats yesterday?
He was just threatening everything. Getting on Facebook, getting an attorney.
That stuff.
That kind of, he didn't personally threaten me. He just,
But he told you he was going to get his whole family come up and blow the courthouse up.
Yes.
So that's winner, chicken dinner.
Terroristic threats.
We wouldn't talk to him. He's like, yeah.
Yeah. I did find a Joe Schaefer on Facebook, and his Facebook, no pictures, it's all guns and American flags and stuff on all his pictures.
Patriotism.
Yeah.
The mayor was elected in 2023, but his issues with the courthouse can be dated back to at least 2020. Through these years, he had threatened the attendees with violence multiple times, and it had only intensified since.
Hello?
Joey, this is Cindy, the auditor.
The reason I'm calling, in 2023, I paid $2,000 in property tax that I shouldn't have been taxed on at all. Before they did that, it was $13 a year. And when my mom came in for that meeting, they had her pay another $250, of which she shouldn't have had to pay anything. And we should have been reimbursed that money, and it has not been reimbursed.
Well, in your opinion, you should have been reimbursed. We held a BOR hearing with you, and we disproved everything that you claimed, and we didn't owe you anything. And actually, it's not you, it's your mother.
Well, in 2023, them taxes should have only been $13, but we paid $2,000.
Well, again, that's your opinion. That's not what the state
No,
tells
that's a
us it
fact.
has
I got
to
the
be.
receipt.
That's fine.
I got all the tax information.
Then that's fine.
And my mom didn't comprehend it until I showed her, and then she's like, "Oh."
Well,
and
again,
then she should never had to pay anything when she came in September. He took 20 years.
Extensive sweep of the court.
We're only a few years in, and you taxed us on a property that isn't even complete.
Officers also conducted an
Hey, Mike, can you tell him about the taxing that the tax assessor put on with the cop? Mike, we're gonna tell the whole story. I'm just kind of prefacing it now.
extensive sweep of the courthouse for any suspicious items, and then decided to pay a visit to the mayor.
That's clear. Just confirmation on the address here. Be extension.
What's happening, fellas?
How's it going, man? Joe?
Yeah, what's going on?
Good. Turn around for me.
Sherry!
Turn around. Let's put your hands behind your back here, buddy.
Sherry!
We'll fill her in, too.
What now?
Hi. Hold on 1 second. Just hang it right there for me for a second, okay? What's your handbook?
Tell me why.
Give us 1 second.
My channel's hypocritical. I don't think I've ever been a hypocrite. Not once ever. Someone said my channel's hypocritical. Delete laws means delete the dumb laws off the books, like the Alien Sedition Act from 1798 that uses the Aliens Enemies Act and the Aliens Friends Act to deport people. Delete that stupid law. How about that?
Second, we're going to let us get this, then we'll go through. Second.
Here, I got a
Hold on.
nice on my left hand.
Okay. I'll grab it. Yeah, we'll
grab
take care of this. You just hang out there for us, okay? If you want, why don't we step a little?
But you don't know anything about the channel. Never seen you before, brother.
So crowded.
What side is that penknife at?
Left side.
Right here?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to grab it, all right?
Yeah.
Anything else that could poke me, prick me, stab me, or anything like that? Harm me anyway?
What is it?
Sir, anything that can harm me anyway?
No.
Okay. You don't want to take anything with you?
No.
Okay.
No, I'll be calling an attorney.
Call Joe.
I will.
Because I didn't threaten nobody.
I know.
You know I'm the mayor of the town, right? And this is over taxes. Show them. Grab them taxes. Show them what they did. It took $2,000.
And now the conversation going on in the chat. Thank you. I'm glad. I've been out of jail for 1.5 years. I've been live. You just haven't got to see because YouTube has the channel banned. But it's okay. We have too many laws on the books. And someone just put in here, Google all the laws in your state. There's so many fucking laws over the top of us. It's a law you can't walk in the street or it's a crime. What kind of bullshit is that? It was created for black people after they were freed. And it was only applied to black people for decades and decades and decades. It's still illegal for you to step in the street. That shit has to change. Delete that stupid law of jaywalking. There's already a disturbing the peace charge. If you walk out in traffic and you disturb the peace, I understand you being charged. But if you just walk across the street, it should not be a crime, and that's what it is.
And we're supposed to pay us back for our land taxes.
They owed us $4,000.
And then when my mom went in to have the meeting, they had her pay another $250, and she's widowed. And then, you know, my mom and dad paid hand over fist for fines for my brother to the county, and he was blackmailed by that Bel Air cop to
now, let me show you this. I want to show just a little part of this here. Raw Weber, good to see you. John Lund, listen, watch this.
And you got there.
So now look, they got him chained up like he's Kuta Kente, a slave. Gary Bryant, good to see you. And now they're going to stuff him in the back of a tiny little space and stuff him in there and strap him into a car. It's disgusting.
A mud flap in the back of that truck right there.
That guy's huge. How's he supposed to fit back there?
That go to your guys' stuff.
Look, and he's got his black murder gloves on. Look, there's no room for his legs. Take a look. He can't even get his legs inside. Look at that. There's no room for your feet or your legs. They put the wall that they built into the despotic car right. Look, there's no room for him to put his feet there. Look, my finger represents the space between the wall and the seat. And you wonder why people hate cops. You wonder why people don't like cops. You're looking at it. Why should I be treated like this? For any reason. For any reason, unless I murdered somebody or raped some children, I shouldn't be treated like this.
We have.
Alright, all units going to be 33. One of those will be transporting that mail 25 Jack.
The male was charged with aggravated menacing,
Right, now they're going to give him aggravated menacing, inducing panic, but he didn't hurt. I don't even want to get into it because you know why? It's just going to piss me off. If there's a law in the books, there's a cop ready to enforce it, and everything's a crime in this country. Everything is a crime in this country. Okay, so this one is really telling. This cop is going to tell a teenager that he's not dumb. I'm going to disagree with the cop. I think you are dumb.
Tonight?
No.
You
Fred
flashed
Wagner.
me like 3 times with your...
Fred Wagner's in the chat, everybody. What's up, Fred? Good to see you, brother. So he says, you flashed me 3 times with your lights.
Know why I'm stopping you tonight?
No.
You flashed me like 3 times with your...
Do you know why I'm stopping you tonight? Here's my license, registration, and my proof of insurance. I invoke my 5th Amendment right. I got my trifold on delete laws. That's how you do it. Do you know why I stopped you? Here's my license, registration, proof of insurance. Here's my 5th Amendment right to remain silent. I'm going to film everything. From there, you shut the front door. He tells you to get out of the car, you get out the car. But do you know why I stopped you? Is met with, here's my license, registration, and proof of insurance. It's not on my phone. I have it printed out just like I learned on delete laws. And now I'm going to say I invoke my right to remain silent. I'm going to film everything. Step out of the car. No problem. I'll step out. Good to see you, Matt. Thanks for coming, brother. Good to see you. I'm surprised, man. Where you been, Matt?
With your high beams.
I'm so sorry. I thought I was turning them off.
You have a driver's license on you?
Not on me.
Do you have a driver's license?
I have a permit.
How old are you?
17.
Why are you out driving with only a permit?
My parents are asleep and I had to take a friend home.
Do your parents know you have the car?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yes.
If I call them and wake them up. Okay.
I pinky promise you.
Pinky promise. Wow, that's pretty,
But I am so sorry about that. I thought I was turning them off.
Do your parents know you have this car?
Yeah.
Are you sure? You have your permit with you?
I don't have it. I don't have my wallet with me.
Give me your mom or dad's phone number.
Can I check on my phone?
Hopefully she's got it set up with a friend.
South 1, RP is going to be lost at Gilmore for Savon.
Oh, she's calling right now.
Okay, go ahead and answer the phone.
store clerk?
Hello?
Or just customer?
Yeah. Yeah, you called? No, I didn't call you. I just got pulled over.
I want to be...
And, yeah, they're trying to call you right now, but I can hand you the phone to him.
Traffic. Okay.
Here, he's calling.
What's her name?
Michaela.
Huh?
Michaela.
Michaela? Is that your mom?
My stepmom. but
Stepmom?
Basically, no.
Hi, Michaela. So Katie told you I'm out with her. She doesn't have a driver's license? Does she have a permit? So she just lied to me. That's not a good way to start things. She said she has a permit. I'm not gonna give you a ticket, okay? But you're 17?
Yeah.
You go to Valley High?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you were dropping your boyfriend off?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, Mom tells me everything. You kind of beat around the bush that I was dropping a friend off. Couldn't say boyfriend?
Well, it's... Yeah.
Yeah, see? See? I'm not that dumb, huh?
No, it's just... I feel like boyfriend's cringy. Just to say.
So just remember, do me a huge favor, okay? If you remember anything,
Yeah.
remember how lucky you were tonight, okay?
How lucky
you
you
could be
were?
getting a ticket, I could be towing your car,
Oh,
all that stuff. And
I
don't wanna
could
do
flex
that to
my
you, okay?
authority on you. I could flex on you right now. Just you remember, you're so lucky that I'm sparing you. I'm sparing you. You're so lucky. Oh, yes, officer. Let me get your boots. Let me lick your boots. Let me lick the boots. You are the man, officer. Thank God for you. Without you, then I wouldn't be in this jackpot to begin with. I'd just be driving home. And he pulled her over for flashing her lights, which is a classic way to warn other people that police are in the area or they've set up a speed trap. Oh, this one, man. This one's going to make you sick. So they put I can't remember the sound of this, but the name of this song, but it's the old. It's a classic song. So these are ICE agents. They're just randomly spraying people with mace. Now he jumps out of the car. He's not done, though. He's not done. Wait a minute. He's not done. He just goes out and randomly sprays everybody with mace. It's just so unbelievable what we're seeing in our country.
What's your back? You not see what the fuck's happening? Shut up.
There's going to come a time in our country. Here's one of my favorite channels I want to share with you guys. Lewis, I believe his name is Lewis Rossman. And I watch this guy's channel all the time. I send this to members.
A lovely day. Welcome to today's episode of How You're Getting Fucked. I'm your host, Lewis Rossman. And today we're going to talk about a new law in Florida that came out right around the time that all these AI-powered surveillance cameras are becoming popular all around the country.
Do you notice what he's calling them? Please make sure you always call it an AI-powered camera. Please don't call it a license plate reader. And Lewis Rossman goes over this, and he says, I'm not a fucking idiot, and I'm not going to use your words. It's an AI tracking device, not a license plate reader.
Country. If you're not familiar with Flock, the TLDR of this is they're a company that makes AI-powered surveillance cameras that are being hung everywhere at your taxpayer expense. The whole idea behind them is that city employees can easily figure out where you're going or where you are based on when your license plate has passed by one of these cameras. It's not just a license plate reader, because even if you take the license plate off the car, it could still tell that that is your car via fingerprinting technology. This allows us to live in a future someday where you could just have somebody type in there, where do people who vote for Ron Paul show up at 7 and 9 o'clock on a Friday in this area, and then show me their movement patterns afterwards and actually get a response. It's highly, highly creepy, and it's something that shouldn't be happening. Anyway, Ben Jordan did a great video on this a few months ago. In this video, he's talking about defeating the AI in these creepy police cameras. And you can see one of the things he did here is there's this layer of what I imagine is like plastic wrap or something, or saran wrap that went over the license plate. And then you could see these little dots that look, or squares that look like something that got put on with a Sharpie. Like there's a square over here, there's a square over here, there's a circle over here. This is essentially the world's easiest CAPTCHA. If you're a cop, even if you have 20/40 vision, you can clearly make out this license plate. There's nothing obscuring it whatsoever. However, he shows you in this video how when after he does that to the license plate, how it confuses the AI, and it just stops seeing it as a license plate. Like it's just confused. It doesn't understand it anymore, which is really, really cool. It says no plate detected. So obviously, you can see the license plate. If this person crashed into me and then ran away, even if I had 20/40 vision, I could see that license plate.
That's right.
The cop can see it, passengers can see it, anybody in the surrounding area can easily view the license plate. Even a $30 piece of shit dash cam that you find on eBay is going to be able to read that license plate just fine, no issues as a result of that. The only thing that can't see it are AI-powered surveillance cameras that are trying to fucking watch you everywhere you go, George Orwell style. Now, this is where this house building...
And Lewis Rossman is going to kind of drop here that he may be running for political office.
Florida comes into play about 2 months after this guy's video comes out. A person may not apply or attach any substance, reflective manner, illuminated device, spray, coating, covering, or other material onto or around any license plate which interferes with the legibility, angular visibility, or detectability of any feature or detail on the license plate, or interferes with the ability to record any feature or detail on the license plate.
That the government has to be able to record you and track you is what this Florida statute's saying.
Violates this section, commits a misdemeanor of the second degree, punishable as provided in 775082 or 775083. Again, if you cover your license plate and you try to get away with driving without it, fine, fuck you. But if any of you have ever driven off-road, there's a good possibility you have more obstructing your license plate than this. Hell, if you park in the driveway of my store under that fucking tree with all the grackles, you will have more bird shit obscuring your license plate than what he has done right here. But this is illegal because he has placed the substance in front of the license plate. And when you look through this, when you look through a felony of the third degree or a misdemeanor of the first degree, when you look at the punishments that they're putting in place for this, I am not a lawyer in the state of Florida, but this is comparable to a DUI. So even if your license plate is readable by dash cams, by people, both straight on and at an angle, perfectly fine, you can be put in jail the same way that somebody who is drinking a 40 and then throws it out the side of their car, who's swerving in their lane because you had a CAPTCHA on your license plate. And the fact that we even live in a world where people are considering this, where I have 20 emails in my inbox every day saying, Lewis, look at how cool this video this influential person did who's showing me how to put a CAPTCHA data on my license plate is even a thing to protect your Fourth Amendment rights is insane. But this is being done for a reason. And I think the really important thing to focus on here is it's not a bill about just throwing away your license plate and making that illegal.
There's going to come a day where we have to go out and cut them down, where we go out and we cut down every fucking one of those flock cameras and they get destroyed. It's going to be up to us one day. This government cannot do what they think they're going to do. We will have to take a stand one day on this.
Legal, because this is one of the reasons I don't want to get into politics, because somebody's going to come up with a bill that says the Don't Kill Kittens bill, and Lewis is going to vote against it when he runs for the House or the Senate, and people are going
Lewis is going to run for the House or the Senate. I love it, dude. I hope that you do. I know I'm going to
say when I run for re-election, Lewis is for killing cats and kittens, and nobody's going to actually read the bill to realize that the text of the bill says killing kittens is wrong, but we approve of torturing them and will provide funding for torturing kittens.
Which, by the way, he shows his cat all the time. He absolutely loves cats, and I love cats too. I can't have one.
And like, I'll get thrown out of office.
Thanks,
this
Chad.
bill is not about obscuring your license plate for everybody. This bill is about obscuring your license plate to the AI surveillance camera. Even if your license plate is readable by everything else, it's not enough. It has to also be readable by the device that violates your Fourth Amendment rights everywhere you go. And the fact that this law came out right at the time that this video became popular, right as this started to become a contentious issue, in my opinion, is not a coincidence at all. And again, I know that there's going to be comments in here saying, Lewis, why are you okay with people obscuring their license plate? That's fucked up. You shouldn't be okay with that.
No, I'm perfectly okay with it as long as it's only obscuring for cameras, AI tracking cameras. But you should have a regular license plate on that can be read with a regular photo camera, but not an AI tracking device camera.
People want to obscure their license plate, and I get it. Trust me. When I see somebody with no license plate on the road, they're usually somebody who's driving like a complete psycho. If you have the intent to keep everybody on the road from being able to tell what your license plate is, I'm not okay with that. And when somebody crashes into me and then drives off, I'd like the ability to hold them accountable. But this ain't what we're talking about. No. We're not talking about obscuring your license plate to people around you. We're talking about obscuring your license plate to the camera that's violating the Fourth Amendment of the Constitution to begin with, and that's very different. And the fact that this law came out just now, I'm not usually that guy to say, why do you care about that now? But I think we know why they care about it now. And there are people that are going to say there's no expectation of privacy in public, and I have a nice little rebuttal over here to all of this. In Carpenter versus United States, the Supreme Court explicitly rejected the argument that venture...
Carpenter is a 2018 case. Carpenter versus United States? Carpenter versus United States is an extension of the 2012 case of Grimes, Grimes, that has a basis of a foundation for Carpenter. So it says that cops cannot put tracking devices on your car. And I'm going to conflate the two cases of Grimes and Carpenter, but it's the 2012 case of Grimes and the 2018 case of Carpenter versus United States. Grimes, I believe, is versus United States, and Carpenter is versus United States as well. I think it's United States versus Grimes, United States versus Carpenter. And he's going to read an excerpt of it.
Into the public. And there are people that are going to say there's no expectation of privacy in public, and I have a nice little rebuttal over here to all of this. In Carpenter versus United States, the Supreme Court explicitly rejected the argument that venturing into the public eliminates Fourth Amendment protection. Chief Justice John Roberts wrote that the government's access to 127 days of cell site location data tracking movements on public roads achieved near-perfect surveillance, as if it had attached an ankle monitor to the phone's user. The court said, and I quote, "A person does not surrender all Fourth Amendment protection by venturing into the public sphere." The Massachusetts Supreme Judicial Court applied this reasoning to ALPR technology in Commonwealth versus McCarthy, holding that with enough cameras in enough locations, the historic location data from an ALPR system in Massachusetts would invade a reasonable expectation of privacy. It would constitute a search for constitutional purposes. Society's expectation has been that law enforcement and agents would not, and indeed in the main simply could not, secretly monitor and catalog every movement of every individual's car for a long enough period. In United States versus Knotts, 1983, while holding that the limited beeper tracking did not constitute a search, the Supreme Court explicitly reserved the question of whether different constitutional principles may be applicable to dragnet-type law enforcement practices. This reservation recognized that comprehensive suspicionless surveillance raises distinct Fourth Amendment issues from targeted tracking of individual suspects. Me coming out with this video, you're going to see so many comments saying, why is Lewis for people hiding their license plates and obscure?
So I was incorrect. It wasn't Grimes, it was Jones, and it was 2012. I was correct about that. United States versus Jones, GPS tracking case where the Supreme Court held that physically attaching a GPS GPS device to a suspect's car to monitor movements constitutes a search under the Fourth Amendment. Now, they're not attaching a device to your car, but they are essentially with these AR tracking devices. It revived the trespass theory, meaning that government's physical intrusion on your property to gather information requires a warrant. These AI tracking devices, they're getting a fingerprint of your car. So this goes against United States versus Jones 2012. This was the vehicle tracking case, not Carpenter. Carpenter is cell phone location data case, where the Supreme Court ruled that accessing historical cell site location information over 12,000 data points across 127 days is a Fourth Amendment search requiring a warrant. The court went beyond physical trespass and recognized privacy rights in digital records, saying people have a reasonable expectation of privacy in their long-term location history, even though it's held by a third party. So, forgive me for misspeaking and saying Grimes. It's actually Jones of 2012. And then that case has to do with attaching a physical. So Jones is attaching a physical device to your car. And then Carpenter is literally goes against what Lewis just read is about Carpenter creating a tracking device out of using digital records. Well, that's what they're doing with the flock cameras. They're putting a fingerprint on your car and tracking your car.
Hearing them, that guy's a psycho, he wants the roads to be unsafe. You're going to see that because people are not going to get far enough into this video. They're not going to get far enough into that bill, even if I made a short that's 8 seconds long, to realize that this is about the cameras being able to track everywhere you go, not just law enforcement officers and the people around you on the road. It's weird the way this works because there's very specific patterns that have to be there to do it, but theoretically that type of pattern could randomly show up if you were just driving through mud. Is it the intent that makes it illegal? Is it the presence of it that makes it illegal? If you have a certain amount of mud on your license plate and that cop doesn't like you, could he use this law and be a dick and put you in jail the same way that he would if you were driving with an open bottle of Absolute and swerving in and out of your lane? I don't think people that don't want to be tracked by AI surveillance cameras should go to prison for the same period of time as a drunk driver. But that's just me.
Did you hear what he said? I don't think people who don't want to be tracked by AI tracking devices. He did not say license plate reader. Every time you hear somebody say it's a license plate reader, correct them and say, no. It's an AI tracking device. Please don't call it a license plate reader. That's fraudulent.
Me. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Do you think this is a coincidence that this law is coming out at the same time that the Fourth Amendment is being violated throughout the country? Or do you think that it's being done for a very particular reason? Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Thank you.
Yeah, that's the end of his video. Yeah. There's going to come a day, you guys are going to see it, where we have to go out into the streets and we have to cut down all of these cameras. Physically cut them down. I can't call for you to do that, and I'm not calling for you to do that. I'm saying that there's going to come a day in America where Americans are going to say, we don't want to be tracked by the government, and Americans are going to have to take justice into their own hands, that your Fourth Amendment right has to be preserved.
Tracy?
Yeah, you don't care because
I don't care about that. I'm not here for that.
I could die, and you don't care.
I am not here for that. What I think you need to do is go inside.
I think you need to go inside. Deed him out.
Tracy, I can put a front line in so that people do extra patrols in the neighborhood for that.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm going to talk to him now, okay?
Because
you are nothing.
Tracy.
Like my dad served in the U.S. Army.
If you want to talk to him, then talk to him.
And you don't deserve a flag on your casket.
Okay.
So I'm going to talk to him.
Okay. If you want to talk to him, then do that.
They said right here, Peter Smith said, in Australia, if you cut down a speed camera, it's a $250,000 fine and 10 years in jail. Well, when we do it in the mass numbers of tens of thousands of us, we might be able to have some. Rancho Relaxo with a super chat. Thank you, Marissa. I did not see what you're responding to, but I appreciate your support, Marissa.
Thank you.
You can't be yelling at your neighbors just because they're a certain race. You can't be targeting them.
Daniel Welch, what's going on, Playboy?
Well, you said they were Mexican. They had to go back to Mexico.
Well,
you said that.
They do.
No, they don't. They're citizens here.
Well,
they can stay here.
Are they citizens?
Daniel Welch said that the name tag on your car is state property.
I can't assume that they're not citizens. If someone's here, I just
so
assume they're citizens
maybe
until
you
I
need to go down there and find out.
How do I know you're a citizen?
Because my dad served in the United States Army.
That doesn't mean
their
parents
served in the United States Army? I'm a citizen.
But how do I know you are compared to them?
Exactly.
So then, should we send you back to wherever your ancestors are?
Where am I? I'm in the United States of America.
So are they.
So,
boy, the racists are out everywhere, man. I mean, how can you discriminate against another person based on the color of their skin or their accent? I just find that to be atrocious. I really do. I find it despicable.
Where are they? I'm not talking to you.
They're in the United
by the
States
way,
of America.
That's
I'm
fine.
not talking to you.
Is that right, Melania?
Yeah, I appreciate that too.
Thanks, Nikki.
Tracy?
I've never seen you.
He's sleeping anyways, don't worry about it.
I'm gonna talk to you.
You can't.
My dad served the United States Army
We appreciate
and fought
his
for our
service.
country.
We appreciate that.
That's right.
That's
I have
to allow
Agent Orange,
certain
by the
freedoms
way,
in
you
this
little
country.
millennial.
And you can't be
You're a fucking millennial
Okay.
that
Tracy.
keeps smiling.
Tracy.
Keep smiling.
Tracy.
My dad, I have
wasn't
Agent
talking to
Orange. I have Agent Orange in my bloodstream.
Okay.
You weren't even born when my dad
I have Agent
served our
Orange in my
country.
bloodstream.
Correct.
You are more than
Correct. So you got me on video?
Yeah.
All right, I'm not talking to you anymore.
Holy shit.
I'm not talking to you. You're a little millennial.
Wow. It's hard to give her airtime, but did you know that woman at Cinnabon who went after the Somalians and said, I'm racist and I don't like you? She got fired by Cinnabon, but she raised $50,000 on a GoFundMe, and all of the comments are how they support her racism. Wow, man. That is just insane. You know, once I know that we're covering a racist piece of shit, I can't stand racism. It makes me sick. So it's hard for me to want to keep watching her video. I don't wish her to go to jail. I just don't want to platform her views, her point of view.
I'm ABC 15 investigator Jennifer Kovaleski. We've been covering this story for more than a year. In April, the city of Williams fired Police Lieutenant John Romero. Now, he's been indicted on 2 felonies, all tied to a controversial arrest at the center of an ABC 15 investigation. This new 2-page indictment charges former Williams Police Lieutenant John Romero with 2 counts of felony aggravated assault.
Is it
He's
me?
accused of slamming a handcuffed man to the ground in October of 2022.
Of course.
And it was all captured on body camera video.
Brian, stay
here with me. Williams police officers were arresting a 49-year-old man named Brian Lopez. All of it over a $3 can of beer.
What do we see again, folks? What have I been saying the whole time? It's always alcohol. It's always alcohol. Not always, but the majority of the time where there's problems. It's cool, Gabe. Hopefully you can joke, man. My moderators are super protective of me because these people are like my family. I have been through thick and thin, Gabe. I'm sorry if you got timed out or anything. He's probably just joking, you guys. But I love all my moderators. They really do have my back, and thank you, the moderators, and hopefully, Gabe, you can crack some jokes and stick around. I don't want you to go anywhere, man. Welcome to the channel.
Captured on body camera video.
Brian, stay here with me.
Williams police.
And there it is. He's got a half rack under his arm. He's got a beer in his hand. It's always a problem. It's always a problem. Alcohol is always a problem. I'm so glad I don't drink.
Were arresting a 49-year-old man named Brian Lopez. All of it over a $3 can of beer. Brian allegedly stole from this local gas station.
And what happens when you're a drunk? You steal. Now, someone just said, I can handle my alcohol. Sure, man. If you can have a drink and not go steal a bunch of shit, I totally understand.
Back for me. Good job. Thank you, Brian.
But after Brian was handcuffed, things escalated.
Bro, half of my moderators are Trump supporters. What are you talking about, dude? You don't know what you're talking about.
No.
Do it.
No.
I'm gonna have your.
He's drunk.
Oh, God.
The video shows Lieutenant Romero taking Brian to the ground, causing a major head injury. In his report, Romero says.
So what do we see here? Let me show you guys what we're seeing here, okay? Let me show you what we're seeing here. We're seeing a female pigtail, female copper, and the drunk guy disrespects her. So Romero beats up the guy who's drunk. That's what happens.
I'm gonna have your.
Oh, God.
The video shows Lieutenant
She
Romero.
even says, oh, God. Did you hear her gasp with the beatdown that Romero just did? Did you see it?
Oh, God.
The video shows Lieutenant Romero.
No.
Do it.
No. Good job. Thank you.
Yeah, let me just put you in torture cuffs real quick.
Brian allegedly stole from this local gas station.
Bring it back for me. Good job. Thank you, Brian.
And she's placating him. She's patronizing him.
But after Brian was handcuffed, things escalated.
So after he's in torture cuffs, Romero's going to slam him on the ground and hurt him.
No.
Do it.
No.
I'm going to have your
Oh, God.
The video shows
he calls her an effing bitch, and so then Romero comes up and hurts him and slams him on the ground.
Romero taking Brian to the ground, causing a major head injury. In his report, Romero said Lopez was resisting arrest. How would you
No, he was not resisting. He called the pigtail a fucking bitch, and so then the guy came in and had to defend her honor.
describe the use of force by your lieutenant? I would describe it as violent. Brian didn't deserve that. That's former Williams police officer Nicole White, who made the arrest that day. She questioned Romero's actions in an ABC 15 investigation last year.
Brian, can you talk?
Right, because she says right here when he slams her, she says, "Oh God."
Bring it back for me. Good job. Thank you, Brian.
But after Brian was handcuffed, things escalated.
Brian? No.
Listen to the female cop.
I'm going to have your
Oh, God.
The video shows Lieutenant Romero taking Brian to the ground, causing a major head injury. In his report, Romero said Lopez was resisting arrest. How would you describe the use of...
In this video, a man by the name of Brian Lopez, he's going to be accused of stealing a $3 can of beer. And as he's being arrested by a female cop who certainly seems to have a lot of compassion from her testimony to the news, an officer named Romero is going to come up as Brian Lopez is cuffed up, and he's going to slam him onto the ground, causing a major head injury. Here's the female officer testifying against Romero to the news.
Force by your lieutenant. I would describe it as violent. Brian didn't deserve that. That's former Williams police officer Nicole White.
How does she have that much compassion, yet she signed up to be a pig? You cannot sign up to the pig shack and consider yourself a decent person still. And here's the reason why. The policies, procedures, and protocols that cops are trained to do, that you as a cop agree to do, are brutal, inhumane, and barbaric. And now, what's her name? Whitehead? Miss Whitehead here is having all kinds of regret for what she's been a part of.
Force by your lieutenant.
Houston hot
dog. I would
dog.
describe it as violent. Brian didn't deserve that.
Wow.
That's former Williams police officer Nicole White, who made the arrest that day. She questioned Romero's actions in an ABC 15 investigation last year.
Brian, can you talk to me, bud?
I thought he had been killed at that moment. This is right after she arrives on scene. Brian's family had concerns too after seeing the body camera footage.
He just came out of nowhere, didn't he?
What is your reaction to that?
I don't think there was any reason for him to come in and hit him like that.
So why is Romero facing charges now, more than 3 years later? Here's what changed. Former Williams Police Chief Tad Weigel and an outside agency originally cleared Romero of any wrongdoing. But when the city hired a new police chief, things shifted. Chief James Gregory fired Romero in April and asked the Department of Public Safety to launch a new criminal investigation after the city manager says new information was discovered. Now, a grand jury has indicted Romero based on the DPS investigation. We requested the new DPS report months ago. We're still waiting for it.
Of course.
Mojave County is prosecuting the case, and Romero has pleaded not guilty. As for Brian's family, his mom told me they feel vindicated. She says Brian is finally getting some justice. We will continue to follow this story. I'm investigator Jennifer Kovaleski, ABC 15, Arizona.
Right. But now the question is that cop going to be prosecuted? Is he going to be charged with crimes? Is he going to be arrested? Is he going to see the inside of a dungeon like you and I would? And that's the real question. That's the real question. Because if the cop is not, if justice is not administered to the cop, then nothing will change. Put a 1 in the chat if that's true. And how many times do we see it? Cops continue to hurt us, beat us, rape us, kill us because there's no repercussions for what they do. There's absolutely no repercussions for what they do. And it's I watched part of this.
You're watching KOCO5 Oklahoma.
So there's a big push to get this guy out of prison.
City. Now a special presentation. Chronicle.
Good evening. I'm Ariel Reshev. Tonight, the story that shook the state and rippled across the nation, the Daniel Holtzclaw trial. An Oklahoma City police officer convicted of sexually assaulting women while wearing the badge. Some say the case was swept under the rug by the police, the media, the city. The country in the midst of a crisis of confidence with police. Other cities erupting. Now,
the midst of the crisis of confidence against police. It's not a crisis of confidence. Put a 1 in the chat if you no longer trust cops at all. Put a 1 in the chat if you don't trust cops at all anymore. If that ship has sailed. If you're absolutely done trusting police. And you may not think all cops are bad. You may not be ACAB. All cops are bastards. You may not be that. But do you trust them? I don't. I don't trust them at all whatsoever. Not even kind of, not even sort of. I think the majority of cops are scumbags. And I stand by that all the time. I come on camera all the time and I say majority of cops are absolute scumbags. And I stand by that. The majority of you cops are scumbags. And I don't feel bad saying it. You abuse people, you hurt people, you cheat people. Ask our boy Mike in the chat, man. You should see how many times this guy got screwed in life by these dirty fucking pigs, dude. And then the prosecutor, and then the judge, and then the city council, and then administrators, and then philanthropists, all kinds of people. It's just so unbelievable. Rancho hates them all. Listen, it's 4:30 right now. I'm going to set up. I told you guys I will have the first lesson of this wall out on Monday, and I meant it. So I'm going to go to work on that right now for the rest of the night. John Lund, good to see you. Rancho Relaxo, sound off in the chat. Let me give some shout outs. There's only 171 people left. Let me give a shout out to the people who are here. Soul Reaper, if there were good cops, they would clean house, but they never will. Exactly correct, Soul Reaper. Exactly correct. Same goes with bootlickers and cop haters. One woman was killed and ran over because a cop on the phone was not paying attention. Marion, I'm a little confused by that. It's the same goes with bootlickers and cop haters. I'm not a cop hater, dude. I don't hate all cops, and my crowd doesn't like that I say that. There's some people in my crowd who are absolutists that all cops are bastards. So, because I met decent jail guards who didn't absolutely kill me when they could have, I have the opinion now that there has to be at least one great white buffalo, one good cop out there who's not an abusive piece of shit. But that's not what the majority of my crowd thinks. Let's just put it in the chat here. There's only 160 people left. Put a 1 in the chat if ACAB, all cops are bastards. Put a 1 in the chat. Put a 1 in the chat if you feel like it's ACAB. Oh, did it short out on me here? Sorry about that. I don't know. I'm not sure if the video shorted out. Put a 1 in the chat if all cops are bastards. Put a 2 in the chat if there's some good cops. I mean, I'm more too. I think that there's some good ones. I think that there's some good cops out there. I haven't met very many of them. I don't know very many of them. But the other day, someone sent me a video of a cop giving a chick a hug when he pulled her over. And she said, I've never hugged a cop before. I'm not going to show the video, but I understand that, and I understand how all cops are JBTPs, jackboot thug pigs. I totally understand that. But, I've evolved. I'm trying to see it better. I'm trying to be the best person that I can be, the best version of myself. So I don't judge every single human being alive that they signed up to the pig shack. But I don't see how you could be a good cop and agree to those policies, procedures, and protocols. I just don't think so. So I'll spend a couple more minutes with you guys. I love to play. Chevy's in the chat. His channel is OTVY Meyer Martin. And so I'll play a couple minutes of Chevy's latest song here so we can kind of enjoy something fun. Let me turn back on the video here. The video.
I'm ABC 15 investigator Jennifer Kovaleski.
Here's Chevy's latest song. Team DLZ.
I don't need a lot for Christmas. There is just one thing I need. I don't care about the presents underneath the Christmas tree. I just want my Chevy waiting right outside the garage door. Got it so a heavy payload, asking Santa just for more. I don't need to hang my stocking there upon the fireplace. Santa Claus won't make me happy with a pretty brand new case of tools, unless they're high torque impact. for the wrenching job I do. 'Cause all I want for Christmas is a supercharged Ford 4.2. Oh, I don't want a cookie, I just want a big V8. Underneath the hood I'm waiting, checking all the gears and crate. I don't need to shop for diamonds, I don't want a tiny shoe. I just want a brand new lift kit and a set of mud terrain too.
I just caught the graphic. One is BS Unleashed over here, member of Team DLZ. The other one is KT from Team DLZ. And it says here, Team DLZ, KT, even if I had a pocket full of trucks, I still wouldn't give you one.
I hear laughter from KT, say no, not even one for you. But I gotta have my diesel, maybe painted brandy blue. Every
the lyrics are important.
the engine revving high and true, 'cause
lyrics are here.
Christmas is a supercharged Ford 4.2. Oh, the lights are shining brightly, all the snow is falling down. Oh, I just wanna drive the back roads out beyond the busy town. What am I supposed to do when all I dream about is power? Santa, won't you bring my hauler in the final Christmas hour? Oh, I don't want a cookie, I just want a big V8. Underneath the hood I'm waiting, checking all the gears and crate. I don't need to shop for diamonds, I don't want a tiny shoe. I just want a brand new lift kit and a set of mud terrain too.
Rancho Relaxo. Fred Wagner. Jeff Bacone. Jennifer Hill. Jennifer Hill's in the chat. Clown Patrol. Great song, Chevy. Thanks, man. Rancho Relaxo with a $5 super chat, and he said, officer safety. I could not agree with you more, dude. I could not agree with you more. Officer safety comes from that 1968 case of Terry versus Ohio. And then Russian Plant put a funny post in here. He said, my brother-in-law was a detective in Milwaukee. His wife stole my mother-in-law's money, and he went along with it. Not shocking at all. Listen, I got to get the flock out of here. I got to get this presentation done for educational stuff that I'm going to teach over Christmas break. I'm going to spend one day Christmas with my family, and I'm going to go right back to work. I'm going to work on Christmas Eve. I'll take Christmas off. I'll be back the day after Christmas because I have so much to cover on this wall. I can't wait to teach. Thank you guys for the support. I really appreciate you guys coming, really, from the bottom of my heart. Team DLZ, we don't stop. Put it in the chat. Chevy! Great song, brother. I'll see you guys on the next one. Clown Patrol, Rancho Relaxo, BS Unleashed, Danelle Brown, John Lund, holy snarling snake shit. Every single one of you guys. I love you. Thank you for coming. I'll see you on the next one. Mikey B, are you ever coming back, brother? Later, Gators.